Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Oh, look at this deep voice, motherfucker. This deep voice, coming here with this deep old voice. Hey, what's up, brother? No, I was just talking. No, you were good. I was just talking. How are you, sir? Oh, shit. I understand how long it takes to do. I got off work early today, but I feel like my day still got long because I did that podcast with C Money and Doodle today. Yeah, it was a good show. They do. It was definitely.
So this is the type of show is gonna be. Y'all gonna have me laughing the whole time.
Well,
Okay.
welcome to another amazing episode of Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 153. 153. Hey, just over halfway to 200 when it comes to being at 100 at least. Welcome everybody in the chat. Shout out to the 15 people that are here right now. We have an amazing special guest, and I definitely want to get to him and give him his flowers. But I want to, say a heartfelt welcome to my amazing co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that literally is having problems with finding spider bots inside of Spider-Man and is ready to crucify everything Spider-Man 2 when it comes to Mary J. Watson. Slow-mo backslap, what's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm good. I got the platinum last night, so I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, so you're not battling with the bots anymore. Got it. You won that fight.
I won the fight. Someone said you could. There's like a particular gadget or something you upgrade that can allow you to see them better from the sky or whatever. I don't know. That was probably the worst decision I think they made in the game, to have like the whole spider bots thing and the way that's implemented. But that's not the problem, and that's not that big an issue really. The game's awesome. I'm having a good time. I did platinum it last night, and I'm playing other games now. I played some Jedi Survivor today, but that's not important.
I saw you playing that. Shout out to you. We'll talk about that in a second, but go ahead, Slobo. Introduce our amazing guest.
We got a guest here, first timer here. I think it's the first time.
It's definitely his first time.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, first timer. Mr. K Asante, co-host of the Gaming Circle podcast. What's up, sir?
See, I'm shaking my head right now. You can't see me shaking my head. Huh? Mr. Slow-mo backslap lives on my show. He lives in my chat. And this is the first time I've been on DPS? What?
I was going to say the same thing, bro.
Look, charge it to the head, not the heart, as they say. Like my brain be just off sometimes.
Look, man.
I think people have been on the show and they haven't, and I'm just like, oh. Whoopsie!
I am channeling the other half of my dynamic duo, Mr. Everborn Saga, by giving you some slander. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And we are happy to have you. I think it may be a little easier having you here instead of Everborn, because like
we wouldn't make it to none of these slander if Everborn was here.
Your slander, Everborn slander with Forte's tomfoolery combined would have made a ridiculous show tonight. But we got Kay here. Kay's very chill. He's very even keeled. He's very medium.
Oh, wait. So he's everything that you're not.
No, everything that you're not.
No, you're not, because you are the spitting image. Because you are the spitting image of his co-host.
Wow.
You are. You are the Everborn Saga of this show. Let's be for real.
Man.
I don't have any kind of weird obsession with blue rats, okay? So I don't know if
we ain't got to talk about that man and his love of blue rats, man. Just because he likes to paint his rats blue, do not mean that you got to talk about him like that.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair, you did monologue about how that blue rat lost his girlfriend and now needs some food.
You had a story time. Yeah. Oh, let's go.
Hey, look, man. I had to get into character. I had to show off my acting ability, my voice acting ability. Hey, look, studios out there, hit me up. I got.
He had to show off his Trevor Bird song.
Oh man, but no, look, let's shout out the chat real quick. Just want to make sure that we acknowledge everyone that's here. Shout out to Max 3800 series, Arcade 4247, Mickey dies a lot. Shout out to Spider 13, Jarrell Johnson, and our homie K, who's also here. I wanted to make sure I said you guys' names because Forte would have butchered them, and we want you guys to kind of like hear your name as your parents intended, or
what you
the
do.
screen name that you made, and not be like back in high school when the substitute teacher came in and couldn't pronounce
No,
nothing.
don't. Let's be for real. Slow-mo finally went to the doctor to get the LASIK done. He wants to, show off that he can actually see closer than 2 meters now. That's all that is. So
I have
continue.
great vision, by the way. I'm just letting
Mhm.
you know. I don't wear glasses.
You don't have to.
Contact or
Well, I mean, I
anything.
will hope you don't wear glasses after having LASIK.
I've never had late. Let's move. Let's move on. This is getting silly.
You're the one that
Hey,
started it.
K,
So
no, you started.
K Asante, will
You
you please?
started it by
All right.
not starting the
Well,
show on
listen,
time.
you
That's
are
one.
taking the focus away from the amazing K Asante. K Asante, will you please honor us by telling us what you have been up to and what you've been playing, man?
Oh, honestly, believe it or not, I have been playing what you have on the screen right there. I have been really, really like trying to get the full scope of the Spider-Man story. I'm a big Spider-Man guy. I'm a Marvel zombie. I'm a comic book guy from way back. So, these guys are my catnip. And oh, by the way, I'm a huge Insomniac fan. So
Yes,
they
sir.
can do no wrong in my eyes. They have good history for me in VR and all these other spaces. So whenever they have a new game, I'm playing it. So I've been playing a lot of this. I was just saying that I'm 20 hours in. I am at the very last, story wise. I'm at the very last mission where they give you a prompt to say, if you continue now, you're ending the story. So if you want to go back and do anything, now's the time. So I'm at that very last story beat, and I'm going back to clean up certain things. And I'm very, very cognizant of the spoilers, so I kind of don't want to. I can't even talk about the side quests because that side missions and stuff, because some of that might be spoilers as well in
Right.
that late
Yeah,
game.
actually,
So
you are correct. Especially if you complete like the side quests, the
mhm,
side like quest lines, because they
yeah,
all reveal something that it either ends up becoming something that could potentially be in a later DLC, or
mhm,
something that might end up becoming something a quest line or plot point that might continue in a potential sequel. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah, it's very much there's a lot. I would say there isn't a ton of Easter eggs, but there's a significant number of Easter eggs, and there's a lot to spoil. Like I posted some screenshots in the beginning when I first started playing, and then I just stopped because everything that was such an epic moment that I was screenshot, I would look at it and be like, I can't post that on
Oh,
Twitter
see,
because
this is the thing. This is the thing. The reveal, the big bad reveal. Everybody knows Venom is in the game. He's in the
right,
game, right?
Right.
right.
When they finally give you Venom proper, I'm like, oh man, I need to take a photo. I have the epic shot. I'm like, can I put that on Twitter? If I do that, somebody will somehow like have some smoke for me, even though it's in the marketing. Right?
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
I would have
It's
put
not
in
like,
the. I would have put like in the subtext for
yeah.
the picture, like, oh, just to let you know this is also in the marketing. Get
Yeah,
ahead of it
exactly.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I put like a photo of Mary Jane turning into Venom. Spoiler alert. No, that's not true. That's not true. People, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know, it's not like I'm doing any of that, but still, I'm very cognizant of the spoilers because this game, more than most, is very spoiler heavy, right? Like it's quite good. I am enjoying myself with it. Have you guys had any like debilitating bugs, like really bad bugs
So
that you
so
can report?
so I platinumed the game,
Yeah.
and here's the interesting thing. In the beginning, well, as I was playing through the game and I beat it,
Hmm.
I didn't get any like serious bugs. I had no crashes. The only time I had to restart the checkpoint, but even during a part where that slowdown bug where someone gets hit and they start to just like when you beat the last person in the area, they do a little slowdown as and fade out as that person drops. It just kept going for like a good
Mm.
almost 2 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, this is
Hmm.
that bug that people were talking about." And so I hit restart the checkpoint, thinking I would have to restart the encounter, but it was in the middle of like a main mission thing. So really, it's like the game had registered that I had already completed that. It just couldn't transition to that cutscene. And so when I hit restart the checkpoint, it started the cutscene that I was supposed to see anyway. So it was no big deal. Little minor bugs here and there with like clipping and stuff. Like if like you're Peter and you're doing a finisher and you're close to a wall, I would like clip through the wall and then come back out to knock the guy out. That kind of like little minor things that aren't that big a deal. And sometimes I would go in the photo mode during an action shot and see that like Miles's like leg is through an enemy, like little visual glitches, but nothing serious.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
after I beat the game, I started dealing with crashes as I was going through the platinum run. So I've been trying to figure it out, like why? What was the big change from me playing the game, and just playing through the game normally, to me doing all the content to get the platinum? And I wonder, because initially I thought it may have been like what mode I was using, because when I beat the game, I played it on my OLED and I played it in fidelity mode with VRR, smooth VRR, and 120 hertz enabled. And then when I was decided to just go for the platinum after beating the game, I moved my PS5 back into my office, connected it to my 4K 144 hertz monitor. I'm playing at performance mode with VRR off, because I don't think this monitor has VRR, but 120 hertz on, and that's when I started noticing the differences. So I wondered if that was it, but then I started talking to other people, and they were like, "No, I've been playing in performance mode. I've been playing and shout out to Luca. Luca has had 0 bugs, and so it's just like, what is it? What is it? So this is what I think.
Yeah, my daughter hasn't had any bugs either, and she's 12, almost 13 hours in, and she hasn't seen one bug yet.
I basically mainlined. I was just real quick. I basically mainlined the main story of the game. I got so engrossed in the story that I did early on. I did the Brooklyn Visions storyline, and I did the Harlem Music Museum storylines, and I did some of the other ones as you would just kind of come across them on the map as you're going to the main missions. But I basically just did the story content. That's all I was doing, because I was so like engrossed in it, and I had very little bugs in that. But then once I started doing the side content is when I started to see more. But so I think it's the side content that's just less. They've had less QA testing on the side content stuff. They haven't had enough time to do that in there. Because look, usually they would have a new game plus, or like you beat the game, you jump in a new game. There's no new game plus yet. So I'm like, what? I was kind of shocked. I was like, because I was thinking, because my last trophy, and y'all know I'm not a stealth guy. So there's a particular trophy where if that they got the web line now, so like you can create your own walkways above enemies to do takedowns, or to web perch takedowns and stuff like that from. There's an actual trophy where you got to get 25 or do 25 takedowns from the web line in order to actually get the trophy. I had done so little of that, because I would do a little bit of stealth, and then I'm like, I'm getting bored. I just jump in and just start kicking people. And I started to think about it. I was like, oh crap, I've done everything. I've done all the quests. I've beat everything. And I have that webline thing, the trophy to get. It's my last trophy. This is even after I did the whole spider bot stuff. And I'm like, and at this point, I'm just swinging around hoping to get a random encounter that will allow me to, with Miles, to go invisible, do the web line, and wear people up. And that took a minute, but it's just, I encountered so many bugs in just that little area where like I would start an encounter and then the screen would go black. And then it would just like have Miles drop down on a roof somewhere like nothing happened. And I'm like, what? What's
So minor,
weird?
not even a spoiler, but maybe this might help narrow it down a bit.
Mhm.
What type of enemies are you fighting in this random encounter? Because the stage changes when different types of enemies are
I
presented, right?
don't want to say because
Okay.
that's a spoiler if I say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh Lord, how can I get it out of like are these all victims that need saving?
Um, no. Like
No.
they're very different. Like
Okay.
they're all random encounters. Sometimes it's the
Okay.
hunters
Okay.
there. Sometimes
Okay.
it's
Okay.
you know
Sure. Sure.
the
Understood.
cultists. You know the
Say
cult.
no more. Say no
Yeah.
more. Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. Now, because the reason why I'm asking is because there are two things that I've noticed that might be going on, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of clipping in the world, right? A
Yeah.
lot to the point where when you're facing faster enemies, you can find yourself lodged within like the architecture of a building or a world, so much so that you can't escape. So like
Mhm.
I got stuck on a balcony. Like I'm in the balcony of a New York apartment and Spider-Man can't jump off the balcony because he's in stuck in the balcony, right? Stuff like that. And then you
Mhm.
have to like restart it or whatever. Like I've only had some minor annoyances. Like it crashed the desktop on me. I think a dashboard, I should say, crashed the dashboard on me like 3 times throughout my 20-hour playthrough. Uh, um, like
That
you.
happened to me twice, but it all
Mhm.
happened after I beat the game, which was just weird.
Okay.
You know.
This happened while I'm randomly in the world playing. Like
Mhm.
you, when it happened, I was doing the random stuff, not during actual gameplay segments, right?
Mhm.
So it seems like the gameplay segments are tight, right? But your point about how this has never happened and they're polished, right?
Mhm.
As I said, I'm a big fan of Insomniac. Just look at Spider-Man's history right now. Just look at Spider-Man itself and its history right now. They usually release the game clean and polished, and then you'll see iteration on like the performance mode, and then they add an RT mode, and then they add a sub RT mode, and all of this. In
Mhm.
this version, it came with all of that day one, right? I think there might have been some Robin Peter to pay Paul stuff here. They maybe
They did some things out of order and
yeah,
not having no one has unlimited resources. So
exactly,
if
exactly,
you're going to provide features that you normally
hmm
don't provide until later updates that
yep.
came at
It
the
came at the expense
unfortunate
of quality.
of
Yeah,
QA making sure that
yeah,
it's a stable. It's definitely a
exactly.
possibility. And
Yeah.
but and like so the people understand what we're saying. Like we're not saying that like there's no such thing as bugs or like the previous games haven't had bug issues because I had bugs in the previous games too. Like
Yeah.
I actually did a little thread last Sunday where I was just
Yeah, I
talking
saw
about
that.
majors and minor bugs, and I posted bugs from Spider-Man where like
Yeah.
and Miles Morales Finn, Miles's friend, there's a part
Mhm.
where you're faking like you're going to join her gang, the Underground,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
remember that part.
introducing you, and then
Mhm.
you walk in, and then she turns to you, and she puts her mask on.
Mhm.
What happens with me? I'm playing on PC. She turns to me, she puts the mask on, and then she collapses like somebody pulled the plug on her or something. And she just collapses in a
Okay.
heap on the
she
ground.
she
And I'm
collapsed
just
like a
like,
cyborg, huh?
and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And start walking around, and none of the underground people are talking. Nothing is. They're doing the animation of just
Yeah.
standing around, but they're not like the random chit chat talk that's supposed to happen. None of that stuff is going on. And so I'm like, all
Wow.
right, so this is a bug. So I restart the checkpoint, literally pushing me, and something that they always do with these Spider-Man games. They're literally doing all those saves in the background, like very often, which is probably helped them out a lot with how buggy the game is because typically, because they're doing so many autosaves, when you get into a bad situation, you can just literally hit restart the checkpoint and you're not that far off. Even if you weren't
Yep.
doing manual saves, you forgot the manual save for the past couple hours, that kind of thing.
Very generous saves, absolutely.
Yeah, so I hit the restart the checkpoint in the Miles game, and it just started, literally started the whole cutscene of Finn talking and looking back at me and putting her mask on and walking on, and it went as normal. And I'm just like, it was, and it was fresh in my mind because I literally played the Spider-Man games over again before playing Spider-Man 2, which I'm so glad I did, because it kept so much information was fresh in my mind of things that they brought up, and like the whole Cult Flame storyline with the reoccurring character that comes back in that quest line, like all that stuff and what happened in the previous games that they will refer to was all fresh in my mind with that. So I really enjoyed playing the game. My bad, Kay. Go ahead and continue what you were saying.
No. I appreciate your thoughts on it. Like the reason why I even brought up the question of the bugs is because, like, I've heard some folks talk about how bad it is, and you never wanna assume one thing or another, and no group of people are a monolith, right? There was a time when Cyberpunk came out and people were complaining how horrible it was, and I was having a great time on my PC. It had no issues. So I understand that can exist, but
man.
a lot of folks are talking
too, and I had issues, which is crazy.
There you go. I had no issues. I had a couple T-poses. It was some oddities here and there. I had a great time with the game, So with that in mind, it makes me go, is it really out there like that bad for others? Or are people just fanning some flames here? Because I've heard a lot about it, right? And I played 20 hours. And by the way, I was telling Forte this. I've been playing it in a very odd way. I've been playing it, I'd say 80 to 90% of the game has been played through the Logitech G Cloud, streamed to the Logitech G Cloud from the PS5. Why?
Really?
Yes. Why? Because Daddy has no time, man. I can't sit in front of the OLED, man. I can't sit in front of the OLED. And when I do, it's during the day.
Are you getting that PS Portal?
Okay, so can
Please say no. Please say no.
Can I admit something? Hold on. Listen carefully. Listen carefully.
I understand that you're gaming. I know you.
But you gotta listen.
Love handheld. I know
you gotta listen. No. But you gotta listen though. You gotta listen.
I'm listening.
He already pre-ordered. He
probably already got one. Sony sent it to him already.
Here's the thing though. Okay.
Here's the caveat.
Myself and a few others who I will not shame had already pre-ordered that thing, right? Because we want to hack it, right?
You pre-ordered knowing what it was.
Hold on, because we want to hack it, right? But during the Spider-Man scenario where I'm just like, I really want to play this game, but I cannot sit in front of my OLED. I can't sit in the living room. And even if I bring my laptop, because I work during the day, bring it to the living room, whatever, and my son's around, I can't be having Venom's teeth scaring that boy in the middle of the night. Forget all that. So I need to play it in a mobile way, right? So,
Lord,
I hit me up. Hold on. I loaded it up on the Logitech G Cloud. Thing got a great screen, right? Internet connection in this house is pretty decent. So like it plays on the handheld as if it runs there, right? And after playing it on the handheld and running it on there, I canceled my Portal subscription. My
really?
Oh, thank God.
So what are you using on the G Cloud? Because I heard the PS Remote Play app isn't great. Are you using the paid one? It's like a paid other app that people say is better.
There's an open source free app called Chiaki. It's crazy. It's on everything. It's on everything. Like you can use. There's a version on Steam Deck. There's a version on PC. There's a version on Android. It's on everything. And you basically, because it's open source, because it's community built, there are settings in the background that you won't get when you're trying that remote play app. So on the remote play app, it'll see you're doing a PS5. If you're lucky, it'll give you bit rate that's terrible, but kind of give you 720p to almost 1080p. On this one, you can maximize your bit rate. You can make it look as good as you want, all that. On the other one, you have to have a PlayStation controller. On Chiaki, you can make it pretend anything is a PlayStation controller. So
that's nice. Nice.
yes.
Nice.
But the point is, with the
ahead.
Logitech G Cloud, which is really thin and light, and the battery lasts for like 12, 13 hours, I actually had a great time. Like, it actually ran pretty well. I'm sorry to say, I don't mean to be slanderous, but the G Cloud lasted longer than a full charge on the DualSense. So there you go. It did.
Now, question for you.
Yes,
and this is more. We switch gears a little bit off of bugs to something else. And if you don't want, like, you're enjoying the story, right?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan, but then again, as I said, I'm bought in. I'm biased. I'm a Marvel zombie from way back. I know all the characters. I have all the lore in my head, so I'm already bought in. So I'm that guy.
Right. Now, Forte isn't big on the superhero games, and I've been trying to shame him into beating Spider-Man 2018, which he I don't know if he ever did or not. Forte, how are you liking the story? Excellent, Forte. Thank you. That's great
excellent.
insight.
Oh my God, be quiet. I was talking and I had myself still muted. That's because my daughter is literally half a room away and she's playing Spider-Man right now. And she's on this, and since the PlayStation is in the media room, that's where the sound system is. And I had to introduce this child to what great sound sounds like. So I can't take it away from her now. I said, you got to turn it down a little bit. She said, okay, Dad, a little bit. So she's over there. She's actually over there playing it right now. So I was talking and I was still muted. But no, I have about 5 hours in. It's really cool. I really, really like it. I've had very minimum issues with the game so far. And it's kind of making me think that what you were saying is probably a little bit true based on I haven't done any of the side quest really stuff, and I haven't had any issues at all. Like, and like I said, I watched my daughter play the majority of her playthroughs, and she hasn't done any of the side quests, and that might be part of the reason. I know there's there's videos out there of people still having them, like the scene with them riding the bike to the school and everything, stuff like that. I know there are issues where it does come up, but for the most part, it might be something that's kind of tied to the stuff that they really didn't get a chance to QA test as much as they normally would. In some of those cases, side quests are like those throwaway missions, and they're like, hey, let's just get as many of these in the game as possible to actually do. And that could be part of what the issue is. But I like the story. It's really cool how when you're playing as Peter or you're playing as Miles, they refer to each other as Spider-Man. Like Peter calls him Spider-Man, and I'm like, well,
they always do it.
Yeah,
when they're working.
They only do it when they're working. But
you don't want to be all like, "Hey, watch out, Peter," and it's like civilians all around.
So let me hit you with, and this is not a spoiler, but for those who've played it, like there's this like master apprentice thing going on, obviously that you have in there, right? And of course, Slow-Mo, since you've beaten it, you know what I'm talking about. Towards the end of the game, they're both calling each other Spider-Man. Yes, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But there's a moment where it transitions to where Peter then becomes where the what do you call it? The learner becomes the master at a moment, and they both Spider-Man each other. But at that moment, Peter is Spider-Maning him as primary, and his Spider-Man is secondary. And it's a very, very nuanced moment. And I was just like, wow, that's really cool. And all they did was Spider-Man. It was very, very cool. It's
just when you listen to it, it's like really, really cool. And it's just like when you're going through the city and you just be running around and you'll see Peter or you'll see Miles, and you're like, oh, this is cool. You just in a random spot, you just run into them on a rooftop fighting with each other. And as you can see, like this stuff on the screen is love that. This is some of the best. This is like the best parts of the game, man, when you're just wing shooting through the city. You know what this just reminds me of? This just lets me know that, listen, if y'all want to learn how to make a Superman game,
everyone says it.
You want to fly through the
Everyone
city?
says it.
Here
Oh,
you go,
yeah.
bro. This is literally a good way to show you how to do it. It's
Yep.
just it's so cool. The sense of speed is pretty addicting, honestly. So like I literally watch myself go. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that part, oh, I gotta stop here, but I'll see the tunnel keep going. I'm like, I'll come back. I just want to keep this ride, this ride going across the lake and stuff. And it's really cool. So I really like that aspect of it. But in general, the game itself is super fun. And I think that's why a lot of people are not overlooking, but aren't letting like any of the, technical issues of the game really bother them. And that's ultimately what it comes to. Because, when I think about just in general, when people play games, it's all about fun. Like games were busted before. It was never like we never had games that didn't work before or issues in games. I go back thinking about games I think what game was it? It was a Metroid game where you had to literally, if you had a bug in the game, you had to like get a thing from Nintendo to get that fixed. They had to send you like a save file to actually bypass it or something. I can't remember what game it was, but it's always been bugs in games. But I just think people just really enjoy the action and just the overall fun in this game. The one thing I will tell you that I did notice the most, it's a completely different adrenaline rush when you're playing as Miles versus when you're playing as Peter. Like when you play as Peter, it's like old-fashioned Spider-Man, which is really good.
Hey.
Which is really good,
You
really good.
You may not feel that way once you beat the
In the late game.
I'm just saying right now. I'm just saying like right now. I'm only going off of the what I seen up to like 10 hours into. But that's the thing that I
what
realized
I'm
first.
saying is like before this game came out, a lot of people had that concern with the continuing Spider-Man after playing as Miles and Miles Morales and him having naturally, as the character does, the additional abilities that Spider-Man doesn't have, that Peter Parker doesn't have. That like, how can you go back to?
How can you go back to regular
Peter
Spider-Man?
Parker?
Yeah,
right.
Peter Parker.
They addressed that very well in this.
Okay,
game.
Yeah, and I don't hold it against them. It's just that when I play right now, as I play with them both, I just want to go back to Miles. I want to go back to Miles. Let me go back to Miles and do some more stuff.
And in the beginning, you probably will feel that more, but as the game progresses, because this is more Spider-Man's story, this is more Peter's story,
right? Exactly.
Between the two of them, you will start like he will get certain things, and you'll get access to certain things, and you'll start to really hone in on classic Spider-Man. We'll call it.
Yeah. But just
about the combat.
Yeah, go
ahead. I wanted to. So somebody in the chat had made shout out to Neil in the chat, talked about like he loves the addition of the parry button. I do too as well. Now, are you guys what difficulty are you guys playing on?
Amazing.
Yeah, I started amazing. I wanna finish amazing, and then like I always run through the story mainline through the first time like standard. So whatever the developer set, that's what I'm running it through, and then to go back and fill in the new game plus stuff, I'll start playing with the difficulties a little bit.
Okay, so I beat the game on spectacular, which is the current highest difficulty. They'll drop ultimate probably when they drop new game plus, but spectacular is currently the highest difficulty. And remember how I said like one of the things that I wanted them to address is how easy the game is. Like the previous two games are pretty easy. Like I ran through 2 weeks ago Spider-Man 2018 remastered and Miles Morales on Ultimate on both of them, and there wasn't a challenge. It was just easy. Even with the old way of the gadget weapon wheel, which I kind of want to address as well. I think they address the difficulty pretty well, because when you play with spectacular, you need to parry. Like, and the parry's not hard. It's like it's a pretty pretty wide
Satisfying
parry.
parry. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like Kane the Bridge of Spirits parry, which the
Where the
parry
window
window
is a
was
millisecond.
very narrow. It's a good parry.
Yeah.
But you can't get clapped really
Nope.
easy on Spectacular. You'll go up
Nope.
to one of those hunter bases, the ones that are hitting on the rooftops, and you know, just think you just want to just go in and just start styling on them. You're gonna end up they're gonna be laughing over your dead body because they like the guys that are from long range that are shooting at you. You gotta be leery of them. They'll bring in a chopper that will come in as reinforcements. You have to manage all those things. Meanwhile, if I don't know how they do it on Amazing, but on Spectacular, you'll have enemies that are doing attacks that like the AOE on the attack is so wide that dodging isn't. You're still going to get hit even if you dodge out of the way. You have to parry, and so
Yep.
some of those boss fights, like you beat them and you're like, all right, I got him, and then it's like. Oh
Yeah.
snap!
Let's talk about
He's
that.
not down.
Let's talk
it's
about
another
that
fight.
for a minute. Let's
'Cause
talk about
you have
that
to beat
for a
people like
minute.
3 times. The boss fights are
No,
pretty
no, no, no,
crazy.
no, no, no. You're being generous. They're like at the height. I think the worst I saw was like 4 or 5 phases. You beat him. Oh, you congratulations. You're patting yourself on the back. Oh no, he's back. And then you beat him again. Oh, and then there's another cutscene. And then he's back. It's worse than Cell in Dragon Ball Z. Like, what is wrong with these people? Like, it is terrible. It is
He's gone Super Saiyan 5 on you,
that's
right?
right. That's right. It felt cheap at some point. I was like, just come on already. You know, like I just need to hit the damn save button at this point. You know, it's a little cheap.
No spoilers, but in the end, you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna like the way they do it in the end. But still, it's just the parry is necessary.
Yeah.
I like parrying now. Now I'm just like, I'm just like what, just wait. I'm kind of rolling up on people like, I dare you try to hit me. I'm gonna parry them right off the break. But I think that was a good addition to the combat. In addition to doing away with the gadget wheel. That gadget wheel slowed down combat to have a number of gadgets that most people didn't even bother with. Now you basically just choose which gadgets you want to have on your 4 buttons, and there you go. And then you got Miles with his powers, and you got Peter with his additional advanced gadgets like his spider legs and stuff like that. And so now it's just hold L1, hit a button. It keeps the flow of combat going without having to do the whole slowdown while you choose which do I want to do a concussion blast? Do I want to do a web bomb? It's just I don't. No, you don't have to do that. You just basically R1, choose one, and then then you would just go. So yeah,
real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just noticed something that I played through this whole thing, and I just noticed it now. Unlike the other Spider-Man games, and you tell me if I'm wrong. In the other Spider-Man games, they gave this BS attempt at looking like Spider-Man ain't killing nobody. So even when he threw him off the edge of things, he would like stick back to the wall. You know what I mean? Somehow there'd be like magic webs. Yeah, magic webs. In this one, like he'll throw you off a ceiling and you just fall to your doom. There's no magic.
No, they're still there. They're still there. I actually watched one. I actually like I was doing one of the hunter nest, and I uppercutted the last hunter off the building, and then I watched him go down, and then so this is what they're trying to canon wise explain is that somehow he's slyly dropping a web bomb on their body or something as they fall, and it just explodes out and it sticks them to the building, because it's just it doesn't really. It didn't like clearly you didn't really see that, but it's just they make sure that Peter doesn't and Miles don't kill nobody because
You know what?
they'll drop and then
I'll,
you'll see them stick to a wall or stick to a building or something. I'm just like, oh man.
I'll put a pin in this one because I think we need to have a spoiler discussion because there are some late game enemies. I'm just like, nah, man, that ain't flying. That's some BS we're talking about right there. They are killing people. They are killing people. Okay.
But look, there's a lot of death in this game.
A lot of it.
There's a lot. People are definitely dying. I'm just saying Peter and Miles ain't the ones that's doing it. There's people dying left and right.
No.
Left, right, front, right, and center.
I mean, Peter and Miles are killing people.
I mean, man, you hit somebody with a...
You saying like ain't no way somebody's just survived that, baby.
No way. That's ridiculous. There's just no way.
No, you ain't gonna hit nobody with a refrigerator.
Buildings, like exactly.
Hit them with a refrigerator and they gonna live.
I agree with you, especially when it comes to the parts where, and look, this isn't a spoiler. We all know. We all saw the trailers. Peter gets the symbiote suit, right? When he starts, his personality starts to change.
Yep.
And some of them fights, you just like, oh,
you just feel like you're crunchier, you're just it's something's different.
Absolutely. I see all these people dying. I see all these people dying going into Hudson right now, watching the screen. Look at this. Look, that person ain't gonna
all
live.
Tied up. Unable to swim.
You kicked the dude into a Hudson River with his arms tied up in webs that ain't going to dissolve for like 3 hours.
He dead.
ain't no doggy swimming out of that. He drowned.
So my last question about this game, right? Because I'm enjoying it and I'm playing it. I'm having a good time. So much so that, like I said, I'm at the last end, and I've doubled back to kind of like clean things up before I finish. Right? I'm enjoying this game. But here's maybe a hot take for me. Y'all get the virtual tomatoes ready for me. Here we go.
Yes,
ready?
sir. Okay. We listen.
To me, this is like the best cheesecake you've ever tasted. And this is the fourth piece. And this time they added strawberries on top. Again, the best cheesecake you've ever tasted. But it's no
tomatoes.
Piece.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you understand where I'm going with this.
Yeah, it is the best version of a format that they've given us 2 times already.
No, 4 already. See, to me, if you played Spider-Man 2018 and then you played this, oh wow, you're gobsmacked. It is amazeballs to the umpteenth degree. Oh my God, what an amazing thing. But as I am a fan, I have played Spider-Man 2018. I have played Spider-Man Remaster. I have played Spider-Man Miles Morales and on PC. And now I'm playing this. Now,
well, the remaster isn't like it's just the same game.
No. I understand that, but hear me, because I've seen the benefit of the quality of their upgrades in quality and technology. I've seen them change the face, right? I've seen them change the model from one individual to another individual. I've seen them button it up and benefit from a lot of the Miles Morales tech that they use there. So I feel like if you've played the others all the way up until now, this is the fourth piece of that great cake, but it's not as gobsmacking as if you just played 2018 and then this is the next one you play. You know what I mean? It diluted it by giving you all those little, like the middle, the Miles Morales and the others, right? Am I wrong in that? Like, I feel like that'll kind of turn this into like less of an impactful thing that it maybe could have and should have had.
Well, I feel like doing the Miles Morales game really helped them kind of figure out what needed to stay and what needed to go.
Yes.
In addition to on the story element side of things, I think if someone were just to play Spider-Man 2018 or 2018 remastered and then play Spider-Man 2 and skip Miles Morales, they would be kind of not as convinced.
They'd be missing pieces. They'll be missing pieces.
They'll be missing pieces. Now, there are, I don't want to say, because like this character has not been shown in any other trailer, so I'm not going to say. Actually, I think they did mention him. So things that happened to Miles in the first game are revisited.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah.
that's all I'm gonna
In a
say.
powerful way. In a powerful
Very,
way.
very, very
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
powerful
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
Also, I think this is Insomniac's best storytelling in
Oh,
any
don't get
game
me
so
wrong.
far.
I
Yeah.
guess what I'm saying, the I say all that to say that they are a victim of their own success here, right?
Mhm.
They needed to go through that to get to where they are now, and I think this is glorious. But I think that in getting to where they got now, and us being huge fans and playing all through all the pieces of the journey, it
Yeah.
kind of lessens the impact a little bit. At least for me, it's more Ragnarok than it is God of War remake. You know what I'm saying? More of the same, the fourth piece of that great cake, rather than that amazing first taste. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I just kind of feel, I guess for me it's a bit different because I kind of feel like without Miles Morales, without the other sections, like you go back to
Oh yeah,
Miles Morales.
no doubt, no doubt. Without them,
When
you wouldn't get
play
this
game,
greatness.
yeah, and
you
when
wouldn't
you
get this one.
play
Yeah.
this game and you see the dynamic between him and his mom and Rio, you see where it grew from Miles Morales, where I mean she
Yeah.
was in 2018, but like she very little. You get to
Yeah.
understand who she's, why he is who he is, not just because who his father was, because who she is, and their dynamic together in Miles Morales, and then you see even further in this game, and kind of like guiding the decisions that he makes, in addition to the whole Prowler thing, because
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so like all that stuff wasn't in 2018. So I kind of feel like this is the culmination of everything that they had done previously before. And I'm gonna say this. I feel like if they wanted to go in a different direction, okay, we already know they're doing Wolverine. But if they didn't want to do a Spider-Man, a Marvel Spider-Man 3, I would understand.
I hope they don't do a Marvel Spider-Man 3. Because I'm kind of getting, and as I've already said, I'm a huge Marvel zombie. I'm kind of getting tired of retreading of the same characters. There's so many of them. Use someone else.
Well,
We're getting a Wolverine game. Awesome. Give me some more characters. Different characters. There are so many characters.
You may be getting you may be getting what you're asking for in the future.
Hey now. Hey now.
I would
Okay.
go ahead and finish the game. Go ahead and finish the
Okay.
game, and then we can talk, because I think
Okay.
you'll see
know?
what I'm putting down. You'll pick up what I'm putting down. When it comes to that.
Okay. Now, so people need to understand. Like I love capital L, the Batman Arkham games, but I'm the one that advocates, why are there so many damn Batman games? There are so many characters. Why does it always have to be Batman? Move on. Give us more characters. Even if it's gonna be Batman, give us different Batman. Where is Batman Beyond? Why is it always the same characters?
I mean, did you play Gotham Knight on PC?
Of course I did.
Did you like it?
I did, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like Gotham Knight too. I was one of the few that didn't mind that Batman, quote unquote, wasn't in it. Has it been long enough to talk spoilers on that?
No, I don't think so, because they just released it again on Game Pass, and now the game actually has all of the bells and whistles intact. So I think this is people's first time getting to it.
Consoles, you ain't got no performance modes. That's the biggest.
Calm down, man.
That's the biggest bell that's missing.
Stop naming and shaming. Stop naming and shaming.
Yeah, it's the broken whistle.
Well, it is on Slow-mo, it is on PC Game Pass.
No, it's not.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's on PC Game Pass too, I
Are
believe.
y'all? Yes. I think it.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm
checking right now.
And actually, I'm sure it is, because the lines for PC Game Pass and console Game Pass have blurred for me. I use like the Windows handheld machines, and yes, it's definitely on PC Game Pass. I'm looking at it right now.
I might have to read. I might. The story in Gotham Knight is so good.
PC Game Pass right here.
I'll replay it again. I own it on.
It's good.
At one point on Steam, it was like $20 or something like that. So me and a couple of friends played through it, and the story's pretty good. And
it is.
The combat is not Arkham good, but it's not bad either. And especially when you're playing on PC, where you're actually getting more than 30 frames per second, it's an enjoyable experience. I liked it. I thought the open world was a bit basic. And because it was just like, oh, go out and fight crime for a little bit, and come back, and it's like all the encounters, like you do it's like the same 4 encounters over and over again. Crazy weirdo people grabbing civilians, putting bombs on them for some reason. I don't know why, and just like waiting, basically like waiting for somebody to come save them. It's just like, why are you doing this? It's weird. Random muggings, like people just getting slapped around by really weird looking people, like they're wearing a costume in Halloween. It was just random.
The whole
stuff
thing was
all the
just full of random stuff. Yeah. The
Yeah.
only thing that really weirded me out was the what was it? They had this the bike. The bike. Everybody had a bike, right? They ultimately had really good traversal, but you had to get to the late game to access any of their really good traversal. So in the beginning, they all have the bike. And what weirded me out was it's like a weird cartoon where you look like you're going so fast, but grandma's like walking past you.
It's
You know
like
what I mean? Like
hydroplaning.
yeah, you have like the
bike
speed lines all around you every time you're walking,
and
but
it's
like
going
a
so
turtle
slow.
is passing you. You know? Like, what
Yeah,
the
you're
hell's
going
going on?
like I did not use the bike. After like the first couple times, I was like, I would rather use their little when you unlock the little fast travel points where you get the bat, like whatever that thing is that kind of just like takes you to wherever you want to go, which looks awesome. That whole little sequence looks awesome. That, or do their own little aerial like gliding technique. They all have an individual one. I think Red Hoods is the most ridiculous with the whole like bouncing off of air thing, but whatever. Like I
Yeah,
guess,
that
but
made
the
like no
rest of them are
sense.
fun.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but the rest of them are awesome. And I did that most of the time to get around, because I just refused to use that bike. It was just like the bike was killing me. No, but to get back to Spider-Man, I think once you get to the end, if they wanted to move on from the Peter Parker story, I think they can. I think they can, and I don't think people would be upset if they moved on from it, considering the way this entire game has played out. If you look at, like, and I'm again, no spoilers, but if for those who are playing it and are going through the story and you're seeing so many of the events that are occurring, you're just like, wow, that happened. And it's just like, when you get to the end, it wouldn't be a shocker to me if it didn't, if they, I don't know, now that I think about it, some other things that they showed in the after credit scene. There's 2 after credit scenes. Maybe I think they have, I don't know if they've made the decision yet or not, but I feel like they've seeded some things where they can move on from Peter, or they could do a Spider-Man 3, and they already have planted the seeds to do a Spider-Man 3 through Spider-Man 2. Things that are still left unresolved, so to speak. So I think they could go either way, but I'm hoping at least maybe in some DLCs or something that we're going to see some of that stuff play
So
out.
after beating it, does this enter your game of the year conversation?
Oh yeah, it's there. It's absolutely there.
Okay.
It is in the game of the year conversation for me. It's um this is probably one of the most satisfying experiences I've had this year in game. This has been an amazing year for gaming in 2023. We haven't seen a year like this in a very long time. And Spider-Man 2 is up there with Hogwarts Legacy for me.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me at this point, I got my nominees. If I'm going with 6, it's Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. I hate Zelda, but I'll give it its due because people keep talking. So probably Tears of the Kingdom.
You have no
Probably.
choice.
It's there. It's there.
You have no
Those
choice.
2,
Go ahead.
Spider-Man 2. I named 3, right?
Yeah, 3 so far. Mario. I mean, you said Zelda, Baldur's Gate, and Zelda so far.
I'm gonna say, by the way things are going, Probably Alan Wake 2 at this point.
Really?
By the way Alan Wake has been,
Those reviews are kind of sick.
And look, I always said Alan Wake 2 was the dark horse, the sleeper that people weren't talking about. And it comes out, its reviews are glowing, and you look at what they're doing, the way they designed the game where you can switch back and forth between Saga and Alan, and the technology on display. Like this is like Remedy's not finally, but like really in their bag right now. And I think think that one might be one. I
But
will
I mean,
say
slow-mo,
I know
sir.
some people are not. Hold on, I know some people are like, hey, there's no way Starfield could get a nomination. I think Starfield could still get a nomination. But it's like
let's go.
a lot of games are getting. Hey, look, like sorry you came out this year. Talk like Final Fantasy 16, Jedi Survivor, Remnant 2. A lot of games that were really good this year, I think, are just like sorry, it's not for you this year.
I still don't hear you speak in the name of Elephant Tusk Mario, sir, and he will crush all, I suspect.
Mario Wonder. I mean,
oh yeah.
Hey,
Oh
listen,
yeah.
Slow-Mo don't want to believe. He don't want to
He
believe.
doesn't want to give him his due. It's
believe.
gonna squash everyone.
He don't want to believe.
You think he's gonna win? You think he's gonna win?
Ooh, there's a world. There's a world.
There is a world. There is. I will agree with it. There is a world.
Shout out to Enrique with the $2 super chat. He says Baldur's Gate 3 greater than Spider-Man 2. I can't say I agree with that, man. I like. I haven't finished Baldur's Gate 3 yet, so I can't say for certain.
Yeah,
but
the late game is not great. Baldur's Gate 3's late game I have not liked. I haven't finished it, but I'm in the late game. Like I've played many hours of it, and I'm just like it kind of falls apart for me, and the performance gets really bad. But yeah,
Actory's performance is pretty tough.
Yeah, but you need to go ahead and throw Mario in there, bro. I told y'all back in August.
I'm telling you,
when I played it in August before it came out, I came on Brap and told him, I was like, listen, Mario Wonder gonna be that deal, and people didn't believe it. And I'm telling you, and the thing is, a lot of people are going to overlook it because they're going to be like, "There's no way they're going to put 2 Nintendo titles in there." I said, "Y'all better be lucky that Mario RPG don't come out until November 17th, which is after the deadline." Probably
That's a remaster.
Remasters have been nominated before.
Remakes have been nominated, not remasters.
Okay, yeah, you're right about that.
Only remakes. And this year, a remake can't get. Sorry,
no, you're true. Yeah. You're right about that.
The same way the token indie can't get in this year. Sorry, we ain't got room.
They ain't got room because Mario Wonder gonna be a strong contender.
I'm telling. Look. This will tell you, right? Everybody that knows me knows my co-host Everborn Saga is the most militant of Sega stands, right? He is such a Sega stand that he and I have a bet going which he already knows he's lost, right? After playing Wonder, he's in the DMs. He's not here to deny it. So I'm just gonna put him out on Front Street. Only thing he shows is a Jesus emoji with the eyes glowing. Like, yes, he has seen the light. Like, there's something going on with that game, man.
That game is addictive, man.
yes. And like myself, I was talking to him sometime. Like he and I have been playing like Sonic Superstars and stuff. No shade on Superstars. Superstars is a fun game, but it's like it's like they have been chasing Sonic has been chasing Mario way since the Wii U days, and they finally caught up to him in quality. And then Mario picked up the goalpost and put it to Jupiter. Like it's just completely like it's just nuts. So yeah, Slow-Mo, if your list does not include Mario Wonder, sir, I think you're missing the thread on this one.
Oh my god! Look, this is my. You know what? I can't.
I know.
I went and found my last like revision of my list, and 2 of these games I don't think are. So I had Baldur's Gate 3. I had Tears of the Kingdom. I had Sea of Stars, which is indie token indie. I don't think I taking that out. That can't make it. I had Starfield.
You sure about that? I think that would make it like Indie of the Year. I think so.
Indie of the year, sure, but game of the year, I don't. I had it in there as the token indie for game of the year nomination, which I don't think that's going to happen this year. I had Starfield, I had Armored Core 6, and then I had Spider-Man 2. Now, Spider-Man 2 definitely is getting I will write in pen now instead of pencil. The Spider-Man 2 is in there. Armored Core 6, I think everyone has forgotten that game has come out already. So I think I could take out Sea of Stars. I could take out Armored Core 6. Sure, Mario Wonder and Alan Wake 2, I think, will be the ones that will go in there.
I actually think maybe some recency bias will knock out Tears of the Kingdom in favor of Mario Wonder.
What?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Why? Because Tears of the Kingdom, again, like Spider-Man, is a known commodity. It's more of what you love.
Yeah, I agree.
It's more of what you love.
I hate to say I agree with that, but
I bet you in the battle of Zelda versus Mario will squash Zelda. I bet.
Yeah, but then why can't there be 2 Nintendo games in there?
There are,
because we're talking about the Keeleys, sir, and they have representatives, and there has to be one one Nintendo representative, sir. I think that's what we're talking about here, is it not? We're not talking about any other.
We are talking about the Keeleys.
Yes, and there's usually one Nintendo representative.
Yeah, they're usually always a Nintendo representative, but I wouldn't
at
say
least one. Yes,
it can only be
especially
one.
this year. Especially this year where we have so many competitors. So much so that if Hogwarts doesn't get nominated, you might cut him some slack.
Hogwarts isn't going to get nominated because it's not going to get nominated due to some other stuff, not because of the game.
I know, and it is still technically the highest selling game ever of the year.
But you also got to. But I just don't see them as much as I do agree with you. If they were both in the Game of the Year contest, I can see Mario Wonder actually overtaking Tears of the Kingdom and winning it. I could see that. That is a possibility that could happen.
Mario Wonder is not winning Game of the Year. I'm going to tell you that right. Mario Wonder is not winning Game of the Year over
but have you played it? Have you played it?
Yeah, have you played it?
Of course not.
Okay,
of course I haven't played it.
Well, I'm just saying.
So in other words, what you're saying is you're disqualifying yourself.
I'm not saying it's my opinion. I'm telling you how things will play out. Because I don't have a vote. But
we're
the
just
people
saying,
that do vote
if Mario,
they're not going to give Game of the Year to Mario Wonder.
Well, listen, we're just saying if there is a possibility where I think it's a very low possibility. I think they'll put both in there before they not put Tears of the Kingdom in there with it. But there is a but there is a chance, like he said, that Mario Wonder could get picked just due to the simple fact that like he said, Zelda is still
I
known
am not
commodity.
Challenging. I'm
telling you, man,
getting picked to be nominated. Well, I'm talking about the choice of Game of the Year at the Keeleys. No.
Well, no, but hear me. What I'm saying is, like, if
what's
Zelda
the difference
was
between this question? What's okay? So you saying you don't think so? How did Zelda win in 2017?
It's not
exactly.
2D.
No, but how did it win? This is my point.
Won the Keeleys. It won the Keeleys in 2017.
It's not 2D. It's a 3D game.
But you guys just solidified
it's
for me why it
Zelda
won't win. This is why it won't win. It's already won at the Keeleys. And when you look at it, it's exactly the same looking game. Yes, there are more features. Yes, there are a lot more. It's really a different, more extensive game.
You are giving me the argument of why Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win. You're giving me disqualifying.
But see, the problem with your Baldur's Gate 3 argument though is most of the people who are going to be voting on it, let's be clear, have not finished that game. They haven't finished that
played
game.
it either.
Yeah. Right.
They haven't finished
that game.
They reviewed it. They gave it high. It doesn't matter. They gave it the high reviews.
What about the people that's on the panel though? The people that are on the panel voting for this?
Yeah,
they're the reviewers.
We know they play.
A lot of those voters are reviewers of games.
Yes, they are, but they probably. But
we
they
know
didn't,
some
they
of
didn't.
them.
but all of those people didn't review all of those games. It's no way that every reviewer that's on the panel reviewed every game that's on all of these panels, on all of these different what's names.
So I'll just say this. I would not be surprised if Spider-Man wins. I would not be surprised if Mario takes it in an upset. Why? Because
I would be shocked.
Spider-Man is fresh. Spider-Man is fresh in the mind. Right.
Uh-huh.
And if Insomniac can come out with a couple patches real quick, hey, nothing to see here in the next 6 weeks or so, right? It'll be no harm, no foul. They'll just chalk it up to, hey, just some jitters, and they'll move on.
Listen.
Because the game itself, as you know, is quality, right?
Yeah,
you just gotta finish up the bugs.
I'm gonna say this though. I think recency bias is overrated. And I'll say this because last year, Elden Ring, it's not just Elden Ring. Elden Ring came out in like the spring and one.
But that's different though. Elden Ring had the zeitgeist in the mind for the whole year.
It's not just Elden Ring. When Zelda came out earlier in the year.
Well, that did too.
When that also had the zeitgeist
for the entire year.
Be the zeitgeist for It Takes Two didn't have the zeitgeist. That came out earlier in the year in that one.
That was a weak year though.
Stop making all these excuses.
And that was it was Switzerland.
Listen, Deathloop was
bias is not a thing.
No, listen, Deathloop was on that Game of the Year category that year. Deathloop.
Right.
Recency bias is not a thing in the Game of the Year category. I'm telling you.
And I hate to say that
we have more winners that came out earlier in the year.
What else was on that? Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil Village was on that list too.
I think It Takes Two won because it was Switzerland. Like they couldn't go one left or right. They had to split it in the middle. It Takes Two. Everybody happy with it? Let's move on.
It Takes Two. We're gonna split this pie in two and say you win.
Yep. I swear to you. I tell you, and I love that game. I played that game with a bunch of people. We had a great time. But I felt like it was
never finished it. Me and Slobo never finished that game on PlayStation. But guess what? I also
when Overwatch won. Overwatch came out in May. God of War won. God of War came out in April. When
God of War won. God of War
is probably your only argument.
Have won.
Sekiro came out in March and won.
See, every single one you mentioned right now,
if there's any bias, come out and release your game early in the year, and you have a better chance than later in the year.
Everyone you've mentioned so far, with the exception of God of War, had mind capturing zeitgeist that captured it throughout the whole year. The only one that I'll say
I mentioned It Takes Two.
Yeah, but there's always context behind them things. But I hear you. I hear you.
Y'all making every excuse in the book to just not admit that
recency bias is Slow-mo. If they were to make this, is what I say, Slow-mo. If they were to make a decision and put and not go off of, if they were to go off of what the developers made for Hogwarts and put that in Game of the Year, I think that game would probably pull it out if it actually made it in there. If they had the balls to put that game in Game of the Year, it would have a chance to win it.
Do you understand how the Alphabet Mafia would be?
No, listen. I'm not disagreeing. Listen, I am not disagreeing with you on that. I don't. But this is the thing, though, because this is the only thing I kind of hate about the whole scenario. J.K. Rowling says some stupid stuff. She's got money for days, and the money ain't going nowhere. The developers put their hearts and souls into that game, and it's almost like they're being punished because they're working on that. They're being punished because of an IP that they just decided to work on, that they got the blessings from J.K. Rowling to work on. That game has nothing to do with her.
You're absolutely right, and unfortunately, none of that's going to change.
But that's what I'm saying. If they had the, but that's what I'm saying. So, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. If they actually, it's not going to happen. But if they actually had the balls to vote that game into Game of the Year, I think that game would actually win.
It could win. Yeah,
it would win. If they actually had the balls to put it in there, it would win.
Look, I am looking at the winners and nominees of Game of the Year since 2014. Do you know almost all of them came out before July? Almost all of them came out before July. If anything,
Well, that's the midway mark. That's the midway mark of the year, though, for the most part.
Releasing your game anytime after August guarantees you're not going to win Game of the Year. So that pretty much guarantees Super Mario Wonder ain't gonna win.
Well, we also got to,
and now wait too.
You also got to caveat
they'll still
that
get nominated, but they ain't gonna win.
But you also got to caveat that a little too, Slomo, because there was a lot of games that would have been in the Game of the Year conversation, but they came out so late in the year they didn't even get a chance to even be a part of it. And then they got left like Jedi.
I'm not talking about nominees because nominees go from the beginning of the year to the end. I'm talking about winners.
Nominees, because guess what?
I'm not talking about the nominees. We're talking about who's going to win.
No, I'm just saying, but there's a lot of games that we talk about that would be in that conversation if it could actually be in the nomination for it. I mean, not being in the nomination is kind of the same thing, too. You can't even be voted in it because you came out too late.
Every year, there are nominees that literally this is your award. The fact that you got nominated, you already know you're not going to win. Let's take last year, for example. Last year, it was Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok. A Plague Tale Requiem. Hey, look, Asobo. Good job. Thank you for being here. You already know you ain't winning. But we want to say your game was that good that we're going to give you, hey, we appreciate you. Stray. I don't know why you're here. We just like cats. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Appreciate you. Pretty good RPG.
You know why Stray was there. Stray was there because it needed a representation from the Sony.
Well, but they had three. Well, they had three. They had a lot of Sony representation.
Oh yeah, they did have a Horizon there as well.
They had a Horizon, technical masterpiece, one of the best looking games ever.
So that lets you know right there how two people can get in there. So that's Sony's way of getting. That's how Nintendo gets Sony two in there.
Usually has two in there. Honestly.
So Nintendo could get two in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Nintendo
I always thought Nintendo was going to have two in there, and one of their games is going to win it.
See, I don't know why, but I don't see that. Sony can get the business because they do the cinematic games, right? Nintendo will get the respect because they do the gameplay for above all, and everybody respects Nintendo, right? So that's the reason why there's always at least representation from one or the other.
The only reason I think Nintendo's going to get two in there, I think you said, Mario, it is evolution on the 2D platformer that they needed.
Mario sets a new standard,
man.
Yeah,
literally the first in over almost 20 years, and they did an amazing job with that. But the only reason I think they're not going to leave Zelda out of that is because you can't leave a game that literally is tied for the best Metacritic of all the games in that of the year with the year with the most amount of games that came out. You can't leave that game out.
I get you. See, but I bet that by the time the Keeleys rolls around, you'll hear how much Mario Wonder has stomped the competition. Like as far as sales and all of that. It will be like a bloodbath.
Oh, it's gonna sell way more than Zelda did. It is.
Yes. And by the way,
you think by the end of the year it'll be the best sold game by the end of the year? You think that's what
I don't know that
by the end of the year.
It's a short term. It's too short of a time frame.
Yeah, I don't think Mario and Call of Duty have enough time to catch.
No, they don't have enough time.
Hogwarts Legacy right at this point. Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy is over like 20 million at this point.
Exactly.
No one's selling over 20 million copies.
That just lets you know how many people that love
60 days
bought that game.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say if they got the balls to put that game in there, it's a good chance that he could pull it out. It's
not Forte.
Slow-mo, I'm not. Listen. So all I need you to say, Slow-mo, this is all I need you to say. You 100% cannot disagree with if they had. I'm not saying they are going to put it. I'm just saying if they had the balls to put that game in there, and it's able to be voted on for Game of the Year, it will probably win.
In other words, what you're saying, Forte, is if they voted on merit alone, this game would most likely be the Game of the Year.
It would if they
you're
voted on
that
just
all
the game
on sales. Look. I think Hogwarts Legacy one of the best games I played this year, personally for me. I think it's a high quality game. I do not think it's better than
Spider-Man 2.
more than half of the games that are going to be nominated with it. If they left it to merit and what game is actually deserving of winning Game of the Year, Hogwarts Legacy is not deserving just because this sold the most copies of games of any game this year. Because and under that criteria, Call of Duty would be winning every year.
Of course.
Well,
Call of Duty never wins.
Mean,
But that's what you kept basing,
I'm not basing. No. I'm not basing it off of that. I'm basing it off the fact that everywhere I look, because I didn't play it. I'm just saying, but based on everybody I know that played that game, most of them people saying this one of the still to this day is still one of the best games they played this year. And then you couple
it's not
that
the best game. It's not the best game this year.
It doesn't matter, but the fact that you got more people saying that it's one, no, it does, because it matters to you, but does it matter to all the people that are going to vote on it?
Yes, because that's what they're voting on, the game of the year.
Slow-mo, but once again.
Okay, so I think I get Forte's point here a little bit, right? If everyone has their own personal game of the year, but they all agree that Hogwarts Legacy can be considered the people's game of the year, because by and large everybody likes that one too, it could win, even though everybody else agrees that mine might be Remnant as my personal, but I also like Hogwarts. Well, mine might be this one, but I also like Hogwarts. So we can agree to split the difference, and then Hogwarts takes it, right? It could do that.
No. Look, the People's Choice Award, Hogwarts Legacy gonna win that in a landslide. It's gonna win it in a landslide. It's gonna win it because people are still upset at the games media.
You sure about that? You sure that's not where Starfield is gonna get any wins? I'm just saying.
That's a good question though, because how much of the vote do gamers get? How much of the vote does gamers get in Game of Year? 10%?
They get 10% of the award and then 100% of the actual People's Choice Award.
So, but you're trying to say, so basically, if Hogwarts makes it in there, that means there's a good chance that 10% of the people that play that game are going to vote for that game.
When I said Hogwarts is going to win the People's Choice Award in the landslide, it's like literally the separate award that's all voted for.
I know that. I'm saying, but I'm just saying in the Game of the Year,
it tends to be the contingency prize.
Yeah. I agree with that. They're going to run away with that one more than likely. But I'm just saying, if it also is in the Game of the Year, they're going to get
snubbed. If Starfield gets snubbed,
this is my point.
Win that.
This is my point. That's why I'm like, you're telling me that's not going to win.
That's a question.
They're going to make sure it wins that award.
That's right. Yes.
Well, I guess that's the talking point
there. But now that I think about it, I don't know. It might be a kind of a big competition there, because are there enough angry Xbox fans over angry Potter fans? Which fan base is bigger?
Yeah, that's true. Last time they were able to eke it out with the Forza, but they only had Forza. There was no competition in that. There will be multiple snubs this year. And I'm sure the Jedi Survivor crowd ain't gonna be happy either.
I laughed so hard at that side mission you just did, Forte, with the dude with the fireworks.
Man, that was so funny, bro.
I was like, this guy, because the guy's looking at you smiling, and then the fireworks just blow his face off. I was cracking up. That was funny. No. Look, I think this has been a intriguing.
Dude, this conversation is literally.
I can't wait for like 2 months from now for us to actually see how this turns out, because we have live streamed the Game of the Year ever since we've been doing DPS, and we have gone the length, because Keeley has. That thing be like 4 hours long sometimes, 3.5 hours long, and shout out, rest in peace to Dizzy. Dizzy did it the first year with us.
Yeah.
But like, this is going to be an interesting one, because like, I mean, I'm not going to brag, but I'm gonna brag a little bit. I get it right every single time, and the reason why I get it right, I'm gonna tell you why, is that I see how Keeley works. It may be true that he doesn't vote on it himself, but he designs the show and he knows who the winner is before the show ends. I mean before the show goes on. So he look, if Jeff Keighley comes to you, you're a nominee for Game of the Year, and Jeff Keighley comes to you and he says, hey Kay, we love your game. We love it so much. You know that score you have? That like that great soundtrack that plays like, you know, during like the main menu screen? Yeah. Yeah, we worked really hard on that. It's iconic. Yes, it is. We want to get an orchestra together and we want to play that during the video game awards. Just go ahead and wrap it up. You're done. You're not winning. Because every single time he does that, whoever is playing their music and they're getting all this little fancy stuff for them, all these flowers for them, they don't win.
Yep.
Every Red Dead 2, they played like 5 minutes of a song from Red Dead 2. They won all these other nominations.
That's why they got cheated, bro. They got cheated.
Every single time it happens. Last year, God of War Ragnarok. That great song, Blood on the Snow. I love that song. As soon as
they are there to celebrate the gaming. That's what they're there to do. They're celebrating gaming. They're not celebrating it gaming by giving it the award. The award is business, baby. But they'll celebrate you with music and song and pop and circumstance, only to then do business after that.
Yeah, it's your consolation prize for losing. Look, Forte, I said it last year. We were live, and when they started playing Blood on the Snow, I was like, "Oh, this is the song at the end of the game. This song is awesome." God of War ain't winning.
He did say that.
I was like, God of War is not winning now. It's a guarantee. They're playing the song. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. This is their last recognition that they're gonna get.
So look, if they say, and now we're playing a song from Baldur's Gate 3, just cross Baldur's Gate 3 off your list. just cross it off. It's a wrap.
Nobody gonna even know about those songs in there.
I don't even remember a single song out of that game. What's the iconic song from a? I mean, look. I mean, Spider-Man's music is Spider-Man's music. I don't really think of any I think Starfield has good music, but there's nothing like
Starfield got really good music when you're going around the planets and stuff. Really, good music.
But there's nothing like iconic. Like you just go, oh, you know, when I'm working out, I'm gonna listen to this kind of stuff, right?
So while I agree with you, Slow-Mo, I will say though that unlike all the others that you've mentioned here, Starfield is the most signature. Like you can catch that in a crowd. You know it.
True. Yeah.
After you've played that game sometime, as soon as you hear it, it brings it back, right? Unlike the others where, you know, the Spider-Man theme, it could be an MCU theme. It could be, you're not sure. It could be a movie.
It's very close. It's very close. You want me to tell you what had probably maybe the best soundtrack from a game I've heard this year, but the game won't be nominated. Final Fantasy 16. The music in that game, epic music.
I'm just waiting for
it won't be nominated. So
I'm just waiting for Sony. Which Spider-Man movie was it where at the end he was flying through the city and he landed on the top of the Empire State Building and then he flew into? Was that Spider-Man 1 or 2?
I feel like it's Amazing Spider-Man.
No, it wasn't. I know it wasn't amazing because it was with. It was
Raimi. It was a Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Spider-Man 2.
I think it was 2. Listen, that music when he's flying through the city, I'm waiting for them to put, because that's like my favorite like orchestra music from Spider-Man, where it's got the hi-hats and the horns going off and everything. And I'm like, every time I think of Spider-Man, I think of him swinging in that movie at the end of it. And I'm like, yo, Spider-Man songs, the Spider-Man soundtrack itself is just so amazing. Yeah, I really want them to add that to the game. But dang, dog.
Yo,
hour, 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Hey,
we're going to run through these topics.
Slow-mo, but this is the funny thing. This is the funny thing, Slow-mo. This is the funny thing. This started with us asking Kay about what he was playing. We never even got to ourselves, and we're just going to skip that now.
Totally my fault.
No, this is literally
this has been a great show so far.
No, it has been. It's definitely been.
We need to get through it. We need to get back on track.
Yeah, so let's
Indeed.
move over to the next topic. And shout out to Xbox Game Pass, Dead Space remake. That's what you see on the screen right now on PC Game Pass. Amazing game. You'll probably see a lot of not stuttering, but a lot of like me flicking the joystick because I was scared half the time I was playing it because I forgot where all the enemies come from in this game. But shout out to PC Game Pass. That did drop in there today on Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass.
I remember playing that. You know, it's not a bad game. You know, it's
a
scary
great,
enough.
it's a great game. It's a great game, sir. Whatever. But let's talk about PlayStation and realignment. And the biggest thing is, do you think it was as bad as Jaffe said it was? So this is all the stuff that basically came out. Connie Booth, she was basically the super director, the super publisher for all of the games. Producer of all of the games. You know, she was let go. She did not retire. He said she was fired. Sean Layton, which no one knows what happened with him. And this is all alleged and all rumors because this is all stuff that he's heard from people that's inside the four walls at Sony. Sean Layton was actually escorted out of the building. So he was not let go. And then we all know Jim Ryan was convinced that gas games were the future of PlayStation first party. So he started to make them. And PlayStation first party studios were not happy with that direction. And the cancellation of Factions is part of the reason why all of this stuff is kind of happening now, because the developers were really upset, especially the in-house studios for PlayStation, that game was canceled. And it seems like they're going in a completely different direction. And then we got Angie Smith. She was one of the producers, the studio head over at Gorilla, and she is going to be now taking over as a strategic business for the PlayStation brand. And Herman Host was in favor of cutting all of the Japanese studios back, what was that, 2 years ago when they finally closed down Studio Japan and everything like that, and they merged it with Asobo. Slow-mo, or no, you know what? Let's go. Yeah, Slow-mo, you know, Kay went first, you know, talking about his games and how he got on that Spider-Man, you know, tangent. What do you think about all this, man? Like, is it as bad as David Jaffe said? And what do you think about all the stuff that literally came out or allegedly is coming out with Sony over all of this stuff over the course of the last 24 hours?
I think, and look, this is no shade towards David Jaffe, but I think in a lot of things, when someone is hearing information coming from other people, and he didn't necessarily, like, he was even asking other people who normally leak stuff, like, how do you vet it? How do you, like, I saw him talking to Tom Henderson, and Tom Henderson was like, you know, I usually will have more sources than this. But I think it's kind of a little bit of a gray area. It's not necessarily as black and white. Is he completely wrong or is he completely on the money with it? I think some of that is likely super true, and then some of it might be a bit of an exaggeration because someone has a bone to pick with someone, for like particularly the Herman Host thing. It seemed like even he said himself, it seems like the person that told him that really ain't a fan of Herman Host. So, and then then he had to clarify because people were taking what he said and then moving on with saying Herman Host shut down these studios.
Right.
And then he had to clarify, say, no, Herman Host didn't shut down these studios, but he was in favor of doing so. And so there's a difference. He didn't have the authority to do so, but he was in favor of it, so to speak. And so it's like the whole thing with Connie, I think more than likely she's probably fired. The thing that you have to kind of like piece together and all that is, was she good at her job? Well, you look at all the games that she helped produce, and they were high quality games that won awards and sold a lot of copies. So yeah, she was good at her job. But what you need when it comes to, is PlayStation in trouble because she's gone? Well, then, what is Angie as good as she is? We don't know that. So when you don't have that bit of information, like when you're replacing someone with someone else, you don't know if there's going to be a drop off, is it going to stay the same, or will there actually be improvement? We don't know these things, and so that's kind of where I think that there are people who are just taking the information that they're seeing or receiving and then making a broad like jump. Saying this means this or this means that. Off information they don't really have too much. They don't have actually too much information on, and they don't really know much about these people or how it's going to turn out or what the other person is doing that replaced them, so to speak. Like Angie apparently took over back in April, so we don't know how well or well not she's doing her job, and we won't know until these games start coming out, which is my problem. Where are the games at? Because I just platinum Spider-Man 2, and the only other thing that you can tell me that this is a second party game is coming that we know of is coming in Helldivers 2 that I'm not all that, excited for. And then you got a timed exclusive with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is, I'm all in on. But when it comes to first party, I don't know what's happening with you. So some of this stuff does look bad. And some of this stuff I don't like seeing all of this kind of turmoil as it appears when I don't know. You haven't provided me anything that makes me feel good about what you're doing in the future, because all we saw from your showcase was a lot of games as a service, live service stuff, and yeah, you haven't proven to me that you're good at that yet. So again, that's not saying it's doom and gloom. PlayStation is doomed. It's just I'm still undecided on how I feel about a lot of those things, and it looks like that they got some proving to do in certain areas. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
No, you're good. Kay, what you think?
Man, I honestly think he hit it right on the money for me. By and large, I think that there's a lot of tea leaves that are being read, right? And yeah, we don't know what happened there, and you won't really know, So it's hard to speculate, but I do hear some of the speculation going on, and of course, we have podcasts. We are those who are passionate about the gaming environment, so you kind of look at what's going on and you make some inferences, right? It's the same thing that happened when Jim Ryan was let Jim Ryan retired, or when Pete Hines decided he was retiring, or when Bonnie Ross had to step away. Everybody has some takes there, right? And while I agree with you, Slow, that by and large there's information missing, and people need to recognize that, right? I do find it interesting that all signs are pointing in that tinfoil hat direction. Like there's always that those within the environment that make those tinfoil hat theories, but there's always logical ways of explaining those things as well. But in this instance, there is a lot more aligning on one side versus the other, right? So it does make the environment interesting. I suspect there will be some expose at some point. You know what I mean? Like why I would not be surprised and err on the side of she was fired with all the information you've provided, Slow-Mo. In addition to that, the whole idea of all of them heading in the gas game direction, right? And it wasn't additive, it was replacing, right? It was the teams that are used to doing what they do are now being made to do something else, right? And it came out that they weren't necessarily too happy about it. And as you guys are saying, she is the super producer of all of these initiatives, right? There's rumor and speculation that is what led to Jim's retirement, right? I didn't want to peddle in that talk, but the fact that he has no succession plan was very ominous and weird, right? So it does speak to that fact. Having a successor is 101 talk. I mean, look at what Microsoft did today. I'm sure you guys will want to talk about that as well, right? There's definitely a line of succession there. There is no, oh, I'm gonna have Satya is gonna bring one of his mans over here to go run Xbox for a while. No, there's a succession plan, right? Exactly defined succession plan. You see it, and the fact that PlayStation doesn't have that, so now technically they're running like headless, if you will. All that speaks to the fact that it speaks to the idea that the powers that be that have the final say don't like the direction that was being headed down, and with Jim gone, some heads are rolling that were enabling some of that, right? So it seems, but like you say, Slow Mo, you won't know what's really going down until you see the end result. Show me them games, right? When this thing
Right.
first happened with Jim leaving and whatever, I was like, where's the connect is optional moment? That's when you know things have changed, right? Phil took over for Xbox, and out of the blue, all of a sudden, connect that was permanent became optional overnight, right? So if these moves being made, Connie being let go, and all of this happening, if all of a sudden some die in the wool business model that you've known for sure that PlayStation has always done, if all of a sudden all these gas games start getting canceled, then we know we have our answer, right? That would to
Right.
me would be the connect is optional moment.
Yeah.
So
But
for me, there
yeah,
you
I
go,
mean, yeah, and I feel you on that, especially because like that what I forgot to kind of address that part where it was like all the studios were now doing gas games. I kind of saw it as it was some of the studios doing gas games, but a lot of the gas games were going to be done by like second party stuff, like a studio they didn't own, but then they decided to purchase
You
like
see,
Haven,
but
and then
that seems to not be necessarily the case, though, right? Based on a lot of the reporting on the ground, literally the AAA, the top tier developers themselves have said, "Look, we're uncomfortable doing this," so they were being refashioned to do this, which is very odd to me, right? You would get a secondary studio, you would offload it, but to refashion that studio that gave you those many single player hits into a gas game studio, that just seems very antithetical. I have no idea. I
that's
just
a
think that's very
mistake.
strange.
That's not something that you want to do. It's like
Yeah.
there's some studios that are and I'm not saying they're better because of it, but there are some studios that are versatile that they can go in different directions. I
So
think like
Yeah.
look, we're talking about like, we're going to talk. The next topic is Remedy. Remedy, like Alan Wake 2 isn't necessarily just like Alan Wake. The same way, also Quantum Break is completely different than what they did before, and
yeah,
Control is also not like anything else. They're a studio that seems to like to go like that, take portions of different genres and mix them well together. Playground is doing a action RPG and Fable when they have only done arcade racer. You got Respawn that did the Jedi games with Cal Kestis coming off of being a first person shooter studio primarily with roots in Infinity Ward. And so you see there's studios that can do that where they switch a completely different kind of thing. And then there are studios that just look, we are masters in our craft, but we're masters in this one lane. If you need this, there's no one better to give you this. But they'll be asking us to go out here and do a whole bunch of other stuff that everyone else
right.
does. That's not us. We do this right here. I feel like that's Naughty Dog. We do this cinematic narrative technical masterpiece kind of stuff. We in our bag on that. But games as a service, hey, look, why don't you just go get someone else to do that? Hey,
Yeah.
how about we give them our tools and assets and we just outsource it to another studio and let them play around with that?
Well,
But us over here, we trying to mocap this next scene. Like it's that you see what I mean? Where there's some studios, they're great at what they're doing, and when you get them out of their element, it messes up their how they work. And I think the case point, you don't want these studios that are excellent at doing what they're doing already trying to learn to do something different when basically what you should have just been doing. And as they told us, because think about what Jim Ryan told us. Jim Ryan did not say what Jaffe is claiming has been happening, that all these studios were told to start making games as a service games. That's not what Jim Ryan told us. Jim Ryan said, we will start making these games, but don't worry, the single player content will still be made. That essentially we got 24 games or something like that we're currently working on, and 12 of them are games as a service games. That, by just basic math, you telling me you got 12 of your traditional kind of Sony first party games that you're still working on. And of course, those are going to take a while, right? But if that is the case, something not right here. Either Jim Ryan was lying, he's Jim lying, crying, flying, whatever, all the nicknames, lying,
Name all the
Ryan.
analogies.
Yeah. Or Jaffe's information isn't fully accurate. I just kind of feel like it's got to be one or the other at that. When it comes to that specific part, it's got to be one or the other, because they said they had all these first party games in store. And look, Naughty Dog has come out and the kind of, I guess, somewhat damage control factions too being put on ice. Even though I don't think they quite said it around this time period, but the last time we heard from Naughty Dog, they said they were working on a single player game.
So
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so the biggest thing around all this, for the most part, at least the part that I can decipher, is Jim Ryan wanted first of all, everybody at the top of PlayStation didn't know how hard it is to make these type of games. No, but they had no studios or any type of expertise in making these games in general. So when they made the pivot to say that we're going to start purchasing these studios to make these games, and we want to kind of go down that road of games of a service, they kind of went in blindly. No expertise, no anything. Already made the decision that they wanted to do that. And then that's when you saw the acquisition of Bungie happen, because they knew they didn't have the expertise and they needed to bring somebody in to do that. The thing is, a lot of people assumed that a lot of this, because all of these studios have different teams and stuff. A lot of people just assumed that, okay, well, maybe their secondary teams are working on these gas games where the main teams are still working, or the majority of the studios still working on single player stuff. But it looks like all that kind of flipped, and they want to get as many of these games out, especially when the deadline on them saying by 2025, they wanted to have 10 games as a service games out the door. That's not a short time window or time frame to put all that many games out there into the ecosystem and stuff. So I just think that it was a failure at the top to realize how hard it is to make games like that. And by the time they realized it, they already put so much resource into development, into making those things. They kind of have to see it through at this point. So when Bungie comes in and tells, or however it goes down, Bungie comes in and tells Naughty Dog that this isn't gonna keep players, or this isn't going to be good enough to keep retention of players and stay on board. Naughty Dog don't want to hear that, because who are you? Like, okay, yeah, Sony sends you in here to, oversee what games of the service is, but for you to kind of question what our processes are on to keep our players engaged. I mean, listen, it's like this thing we're going to talk about later with Xbox and the whole thing they probably went down with Pete Hines. I may not like what you're doing, but the moment I come out and I actually start talking about it and saying it, it's kind of things that's, things in the background are going to have to start moving and stuff like that. So I just think in general, they just didn't know what they were doing at first. And now Sony is stuck. Like you said, Slomo, not just beat Spider-Man, you platinumed it 6 days after the game came out. Now, a lot of people that they platinum a game, especially when there's no new game plus right now for you to jump right back in and just play it again, most people are just going to put that game down. Now, if you're a PlayStation only gamer, which you're not. Thank God you're not. You don't have anything else outside of the games you're already playing or anything that's coming from third party. So that's the thing that's happening right now. A lot of people are wondering, like, okay, where's the next games coming from? The only thing that we know that's coming that's from first party, that's of the ilk of what a Spider-Man is Wolverine. And there's a bunch of rumors about a bunch of other games, like you just talked about with Naughty Dog making another single player game. We don't know what that is. Only thing we know is they were working on factions, and we know that they got a real hard set deadline on this year and next year to get all those games out the door. So I just think they're going to do what they need to do to get those games out for now, and then they're going to reassess after it's all said and done.
That would be a mistake if you're going to.
Well, and that will be a mistake. I think it's already a mistake at this point.
Can I say I told you so? Can I say I told you so real quick? Forte, you remember what I said about Bungie and the acquisition back then? You remember when I said that, like, I wouldn't trust Bungie to be your auditor for games as a service, live service games, where everyone else was like, oh yeah, that's perfect. I mean, Destiny has been going on for so long. Yeah.
Well,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Remember that game developers conference where that Bungie developer showed up and told all those developers how to do live service? Remember how alarmed you were with the things that he was telling them?
I was very much alarmed.
And you want to know why? Because none of that stuff is things that gamers want to see.
Okay.
Right? Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Why has Destiny been successful? Has it been because Bungie has avoided the mistakes that other developers who make live service games make?
No, Bungie's successful because they're Bungie.
Right. Now, these other developers, are they Bungie?
Nope. And I said that earlier today.
And that's the problem.
They are not Bungie. And I agree 100% with that.
Bungie is, let me tell you who Bungie is. I'm going to use the sports analogy. Bungie is Michael Jordan. Not in talent, okay? Not in talent in like comparison in basketball. But let's just say Bungie's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan as a player, greatest player ever. Michael Jordan as an executive, a general manager, or a coach, one of the worst ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because Michael Jordan, and take it from someone who, believe it or not, interned for the man at one point. Michael Jordan only sees things through Michael Jordan's eyes. Why can't anyone else do it the way I do it? Because they're not you. Bungie is telling these developers to make live service games, doing things that literally other live service games and developers have done, and their games have failed. But Bungie didn't fail. But they're not you, Bungie. They don't have your player base that doesn't go away when you piss them off.
True.
Because other live service games, their player base, when they get pissed off, they're ghosts. And they don't come back.
True.
But Bungie's player base comes back. How does that help, I don't know, Haven? How does that help Firesprite? How does that help Naughty Dog? It doesn't. So having Bungie telling, hey, this ain't gonna work. Well, how do you know it ain't gonna work? You make tons of mistakes all the time, piss your player base off all the time, but they don't go anywhere. But they're unique because you're unique. But we don't have that uniqueness in this player space. Tell us how to build up a player base. Instead of a Bungie, they needed a developer that literally started from nothing and built up a massive live service game. Bungie has not started from nothing. They're Halo developers.
I mean, they did start from nothing they did start from nothing with Destiny.
No, they started out with Activision as their publisher.
Well,
They started
yeah,
out
they
with a
did.
AAA live service first person shooter with RPG elements. That's
It
not
sold
starting from nothing.
8.3 million copies in one day.
That's not starting from nothing. They needed someone, and these studios are doing something completely different out of their wheelhouse, some of them. And some of them are straight up startups like Fire Sprite, Haven. What's the one that's about to shut down now? Deviation.
Deviation.
Games got canceled. These guys can't do what Bungie did because they didn't make a multi-billion-dollar IP and have a player base that remembers that IP and is really and ready and waiting to buy their next game. Well, Naughty Dog does, but their other three don't. It's just Bungie was the wrong people for the job. If I want to coach,
have you seen the fruit of their labor though? Wait for it, right? I think it's a little premature to say they're bad for the job.
You were saying exactly what everyone told me. But hey, have you seen Destiny? Yeah, I've seen Destiny. This is exactly the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying.
It's 100,000 people a day that play that game.
Yeah, nobody complains about Destiny as much as Destiny fans.
Well, no. Hear me. Look, I think the benefit for the union of Destiny of Bungie and PlayStation is that Destiny fans might actually get some actual story in Destiny, like some real cinematics, because that's what PlayStation does well, right? But to your point as to what presumably PlayStation bought them for, we haven't seen them put their expertise on any product just yet, right? We haven't even seen what PlayStation owning Destiny has done yet, because they haven't had a chance to really like influence Destiny in any way. PlayStation has, right? This is all still fresh. So while I hear your criticism, and many of them are apt, I kind of want to see the end product first before I'm there with you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna leave with this. I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna leave with this analogy, right? I'm gonna leave it at this, and then I'm done. This is essentially like you want the best coach to coach your players to success, and instead of getting Bobby K, you went and got Michael Jordan, who's a great player, but he can't coach. Maybe you should have got Bobby K.
I don't know yet. We'll see.
We will see. Remains to be seen. Yes.
It remains to be seen. It's not going to get it. Yeah, I'm just going to move on from that, because that will turn into another 40-minute conversation about Bungie, and I don't want to do that. I only thing I will say is I do think that this partnership, because it is a partnership, because it's not like they get they get expertise, but Bungie gets funding for their games. I think this kind of hurt both of them on both sides, because I feel like the reason Destiny's in the state that it's in right now is because they're focused on too many different things instead of being focused on their game. They're focused on helping Sony first party studios get their games out the door. They're focused on their new IP and Marathon. And then they're still trying to come out with content for Destiny. And they don't even have enough manpower to do the latter, to do that, even with all the people they have at their studio. So it's kind of bad all the way around. Sometimes I wish that deal. That's why I kind of wanted Xbox. I was hoping Xbox would have got them, because I feel like Xbox doesn't really need help on the live service part of it. They kind of got that figured out with all the games they have that's a part of that. And I always felt like Bungie could just be Bungie and just take advantage of the funding that someone like Activate that Xbox could give them, pretty much like how it was with ABK, because ABK was just a funnel for them to make their games. And I feel like that was the best time that they had. And I think Microsoft could have brought it to them. PlayStation is asking for them to do something that I don't think they were. I'm not going to say they're not equipped to do it, but I don't think they were ready to do it. And also keep up with their own deadlines for their own game too. So that's where it's being heard at. But
yeah, I also think they're being stretched too thin.
Yeah, that definitely be that's the biggest thing that I think is
Yeah,
going on with that.
they're working on two. They're maintaining one game, working on launching a new game, and they are helping to produce other games from other
10 other
studios.
games.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So
that's
yeah,
not exactly. Yeah, not exactly.
it's not smart, but that's where PlayStation is right now, unfortunately. Alan Wake 2, PC performance update. A lot of people, I remember last week, Slomo, we talked about this, and we were looking at those those PC specs, and where it's like, yo, some of us ain't gonna be playing games at high fidelity for a while on this game because of that. But it looks like Digital Foundry, one of their content creators came out with a video talking about how the game doesn't run as bad as you think it runs on a PC with a 3070, which is news to my ears because I have a 3070 Ti, and you actually were getting like the screenshots they were showing was like 83 frames per second under the performance mode. So Slumber, why don't you lead us through that conversation about what's going on with Alan Wake and that performance and the actual scores of the game that have actually been coming out for the game that comes out tomorrow.
Well, I could definitely admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about Alan Wake 2's performance. It looks like on PC it's going to run very well. I looked at some of the well, I didn't look at the Digital Foundry video, but I did see Alex from Digital Foundry posting on Twitter about it, showing some screenshots, and he showed a PC running a RTX 3070, which is a 8 GB GPU, which isn't like top of the line or anything. This is like your if you got like a mid tier PC, this is kind of what you got. That GPU running the PS5 performance mode settings was about 30 frames per second better than what the what you're getting from PS5 on in performance mode, which is pretty good. I think it's optimized enough on PC. I don't know about how the PlayStation or the Xbox version barely had any reviews and no one really talking about it. So we don't really know how those console versions are going to run. I guess we'll find out tomorrow or in a few hours once it goes live. But I do think that one, I gotta give Remedy their credit. Northlight engine is amazing. It's amazing game engine. I've been really impressed by the tools they have at display ever since Control. I don't know if you guys have played Control. One thing I used to enjoy doing was just go up to a table or a wall and just use the force, like that force push power that she has, to just blow it up and just see how those objects break apart and fall in like realistic physics. It's just their engine is freaking amazing. And they've always been, when it comes to being at the forefront of where technology is going. I don't know a lot of people remember, but when Nvidia first started showing off ray tracing with the RTX 2000 series GPUs, what was the first game right out the gate that was already jumping on ray tracing? Control. Remedy. They have always been at the forefront of that kind of stuff. And so seeing them being the second game to use path tracing behind CD Projekt Red's Phantom Liberty, I'm not shocked whatsoever. So and again, I said it earlier in a different earlier topic about how impressed I am with Remedy and their game design and their willingness to try new things. I'm not even into survival horror like that, but but the technical aspects of this game, in addition to how they're doing this dual protagonist where you can switch back and forth between them, just really had me intrigued enough that, like, when you see something this unique, you just kind of feel compelled to jump in and see what it's like for yourself, to see if you maybe not normally rock with this kind of game, but this one might be different. It might be actually special. You might want to actually give this one a shot. So I'm definitely buying it. And tomorrow I'll be playing it. I might live stream it this weekend. Who knows? We'll see. And I'm looking forward to it. It's good to know that I'll be able to play this, with a little ray tracing going on. But of course, because I got GeForce Now, I'm gonna turn on that path tracing on the 4080 in the cloud and give that a whirl too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Kay?
No, I think this is more of a problem of messaging than anything else, especially now in the world where you have normals, quote unquote, normals now jumping in with handheld devices and things like that. When you set the bar and you set it so high and you set ideals and you don't explain exactly the nuance of it, people get the wrong idea, obviously. So, that I think that's more of what happened with Alan Wake 2, right? In any instance where you set anything any recommended spec with a 3080 card, you're being ridiculous and lofty. That you're putting, and I understand why they said that, right? And of course, as Slomo was explaining, the goal and the scope of the game that they're trying to achieve there will require a big card. But as has been reported, when the game actually is in people's hands, when you have the nuance to be able to configure it and optimize it for yourself, it plays ball. Just like Starfield did when people thought that, oh, the physics are going to make it nuts. No, it plays ball as long as you have the baseline and you can configure it. So I'm not surprised either. I think this thing is going to run great on most hardware. I'm happy that it is capable to run right on most hardware. Right. I expect that a lot of this, ridiculous shooting for the stars stuff is going to happen in game development more and more. So I built a machine that was a bit more future proof than that. I built a machine that I'm not going to change for a few years. So
a few
either
years.
way, I'll be fine.
You shouldn't have to change this machine until next generation.
What you sitting on? i9 13 900K?
You know what it is.
13900K with a 14.
This man has he has a water cooled 4090.
Well, hold on.
You got a hybrid? You got the hybrid,
when you say water cooled 4090, you must say that with a pinky in the air, sir. Please.
Man,
I did. I had it in the air. It was in the air.
You got the hydro,
yes,
bro?
I got the hydro.
Oh,
Indeed,
man.
I did.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. This is the first time I've ever had a car. Well, not ever, but ever since the 10 series, I've always had the hybrid car. I had a hybrid 1080 Ti. I had a hybrid 2080 Ti. This is the first time I don't have a hybrid water cooled car, and trust me, bro. I know you're loving it.
So I will tell you, Forte, as a man who used to follow that tradition, I continue. I too had a hybrid 1080 card. First, I bought one hybrid 1080 card, and then I said, screw it, I'm going as SLI, and I built another hybrid, like custom water block for SLI solution for the 1080 series. Had that for many, many years. Yeah. And I just could not, the heat that's coming out of this thing, I could not justify blowing air, especially in Florida, warmer climate. So yes, I got a liquid cool. I have two water enclosures for my CPU and my GPU, and so it's just water on water, in this thing.
Look at this, man. Yes. You probably got 102. You probably got 64 gigs of RAM too.
I do indeed have 64 gigs of RAM.
Or I think the only thing
128 is ridiculous. 64 gigs of RAM. Yeah.
I think the only thing I might have better than K is maybe my SSD is better, because I got the Western Digital Black SN 850X.
I mean,
it's like the fastest one I can find.
I got the Samsung 9900.
That's what I have. I got the 9900, and I got
the Western Digital was slightly faster in the right speed. Right. So I will hold on to that W, because everything else is an L.
You hold that.
Yeah, I have my CPU is like 13700K, which is like still great. That's so great.
But as we say on the gamers playground, everybody can play in these waters, man. Ain't nobody trying to shame you for having
exactly. But I mentioned how great your PC is, because if you can't run it, that game is an unoptimized piece of garbage that should not have been released. If KSante cannot run your game at launch, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I have become the barometer now.
Yeah, this is like literally you cannot tell me you QA tested this game on a PC. Because what PC did you QA? If KSante can't run at 60 FPS, you literally just say just release it. We
average
can't
Cyberpunk averages 110 frames.
Man.
With no upscaling, nothing.
With upscaling and path tracing on and all of that.
Oh, okay. Well, path tracing you absolutely need. You need
without path tracing
3.5 and then frame trace and frame generation
frame generation. Yeah, without path tracing, without anything on, with only with the raw rendering, I'm about 85, 90.
Man, what the? Are you serious? That's with nothing turned. That's with just raw.
With nothing
rendering.
Turned on, raw rendering.
Man.
But then my machine sounds like it's about to take off. Woo.
Oh well, yeah,
like
those fans is blowing.
It's
like it's hot up in here. Is this Sahara? Exactly. Hot up in
That's
here,
right.
bro.
Then I got to turn on the standing air conditioner, because it gets real hot in here. So
that's the cool, man. Hey, listen, man, I'm right behind you. I will definitely be upgrading probably next year. I refuse to pay these ridiculous prices they want for these 4080s and 4090s. I did tell myself though, the next card I do buy will probably end up being a 90 series card whenever they do come out. Either the 4090 when it drops in price a little bit, or maybe the 5090. If that's going to be the numbered lane they go in, because I just at a certain point I do feel like, as much as I don't want to spend that much on a card, it's like you almost got to look at it like that's my forever card. At least 5 or 6 year ever card. And that's what I kind of think I'm going to do the next time. But I'm also I might have to if I do that though, I'm updating my whole PC at the same time. I'm going all brand new.
Well, yeah, exactly you gotta make sure that you have the reason why I made
bottlenecks.
Why I made my upgrade, I kept my GPU, but my GPU was being underutilized on my previous PC because my CPU was a 9700K, and so it was just like the CPU wasn't upholding its end of the bargain. So I was like, I haven't really got the full utilization of the 3080 Ti yet. So when I made
my PC did not have leg day.
Yeah, it was like it did. But now this PC is it's like the 3080 Ti is like, all right, my bad, man. I'm not keeping up here. I'm not upholding my end. So it's like I want to get a 4080, but I'll say this to anybody that's thinking about upgrading. What Nvidia is doing right now, they're working on a refresh because their 5000 series isn't going to be ready until like either the middle or third quarter of 2025. So that's too long for them to not get any money out of you. Just keep it a buck. So they're going to do a refresh on the 4000 series. Now, what that means, I'm not telling you to go buy the refresh. What I am going to tell you to do is do what I did when I got this 3080 Ti, which is I waited for it to go on sale when they introduced the 4000 series. They are not going to make any of the current cards anymore when the refreshes come out. They will stop making the current ones. And the current ones, they want to get rid of that stock as much as possible. So what they're going to do, because if they keep them at the same price, but then as is being rumored, so for example, the 4080 Super is going to be the same price of $1,200 as the current 4080. Well, if you have a 4080 at $1,200 and you have a 4080 Super at $1,200, no one's going to buy that 4080. You're never going to get rid of that stock because it was already a bad value because it was way overpriced. It's even worse value because for the same price you can just get a better card. So what they're going to do to get rid of that excess stock, they're going to put all this stuff on sale. And when they do that, that's when you buy your upgraded card. So, like for myself, I refuse to buy a 4080 for over $1,000. I refuse. $950 and under, sold. I will jump on one. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that stuff to go on sale. My 3080 Ti was $300 cheaper than what it retailed for when I bought it. So look for early next year when they start dropping those cards, because right a month before they drop those cards, you're going to see the sales come out. And when the sales come out, that's when you get your GPU.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's probably the move that I'm gonna make. All right, moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about the Xbox Partner Showcase. They showed a lot of games. Well, they showed 11 games there. We saw Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. We saw Ikero Will Not Die. We saw Still Wakes the Deep, RoboCop Rogue City, Dungeons of Hattiesburg. We saw Spirit of the North 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, The Finals, Minor Lords, Ark Survival Ascended, and Alan Wake 2. Kay, what did you think of the over? What was your impressions of the show in general? And do you want to see Xbox keep doing like little shows like this and just out of the blue announce them so we can know what's coming up in like the near future?
I think it's necessary at this point with so many studios under your belt. You need to start showing people what they're going to be playing and what they're going to be getting and all of that. So I love the format. I think the format was excellent. I love the fact that if you want to learn more, there's a little thing, you press the button and you hit the QR code and you can go learn more. But if you don't want to, you get the trailer, they give you a blurb, you move on. I really dug that. Made the show nice and concise, made it like 20 minutes, no more, but there was a lot that they showed, right? Did I love everything they showed? Not really. I think some of it was for me, some of it was not for me. I know that they thought that Metal Gear being on their stage was a big hit, and it was, right? I assumed that they thought that big mic drop, the big moment, was the Alan Wake 2 trailer, which it was, but for me, it's a bit of a known commodity. So I wish it was a bit more than that. I do like what I saw. I do like the fact that it's like an any given Sunday kind of drop. It's like a Nintendo Direct kind of style, and it could happen at any time. It's not a huge event. It's just they're showing you some games. So I really did appreciate that. I'd say it's a strong 7 out of 10, 7, 8 out of 10 for me. I'll do that 8 out of 10, and I'll give it the 8 because it had one of my most anticipated games, funny enough, that I've been wanting to play for a long. Oh man, I am so freaking excited. I played the demo. There was a 5-hour demo. It's no longer available, but I am so freaking excited to play RoboCop. And they showed it there. So for me, that's it. Every single showcase or every single event has to have at least one for you. That was for me. I'm done. I'm good.
Slow-mo, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a C show. We knew what to expect as soon as they said Xbox Partner Preview. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I actually kind of think I like this year the naming convention of these little showcases they do, because it kind of explains in the name what you're really getting. Where, like, for example, the what was it, the what they did,
the direct the developer
direct, right? So it's talking to Xbox developers direct. I get it. They showed how they have
a Captain Obvious working in the mail room. All right, we have a new show. What's going on? It's a developer. It's directly to you. Go.
Exactly. And considering how some of these people are, you need a Captain Obvious out here sometimes. Xbox Partner Preview. I knew right off, without any additional information, what to expect. This is going to be all third-party developers previewing games that are coming out soon. So I didn't expect, like, hey man, I didn't get to see Fable. I wasn't supposed to see Fable. You knew what to expect from it. Now that said, the vast majority of what they showed, I was not interested in. I've never really got into the Yakuza games, so that didn't really. It's good that they have that and they got the marketing.
Like the Animal Crossing mode they showed?
No, absolutely not.
They had people thinking that was the actual game, and it really isn't. It's just a mode of the game.
Right. The only thing that was really impressed me was like really Alan Wake 2, which I was already going to get. Ark is a survival game. I'm not into survival games. That Still Wakes the Deep kind of reminded me of like those kind of like a Vanishing of Ethan Carter kind of game where it's like, I mean, like there was something stalking your character in the trailer. You don't never see anything, which is kind of like. That's why I say it reminded me kind of like of Vanishing of Ethan Carter, because it's like in that game, it's like you're really just by yourself. And so that it could be kind of hit or miss. I guess it's interesting, but not interesting enough where I'm really checking for it. Manor Lords, yeah, I didn't care. Ikaro Will Not Die, I thought was somewhat okay. Spirit of the North 2, no. Now the RoboCop game, I'm somewhat interested in it, but it's kind of more like if I have the time and it's on the sale, I might check it out. And Dungeons of Hinterberg, I did not really care for. The finals, so I played the finals when it was in closed beta
I did
last
too.
year,
Last year, yeah.
and they are really good at hitting you with really fantastic
Trailers?
action-packed trailers.
That's
And
nothing
that
like
game
the game.
does not deliver on the trailer
No,
whatsoever.
it doesn't.
When one controller support was really bad when I played it, and for those who play mouse and keyboard, it was very solid on mouse and keyboard, but controller was pretty ho hum. There was only one map and only one mode, and that's all you played. And I was like, bro, like you gotta have more than this, because after 3 matches, I was already bored. And that's pretty much the sentiment I got for the majority of people that played it. Now, when they showed that trailer, I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't see before. I saw players throwing up shields. I saw
Yeah.
people throwing turrets on the ceiling. And I'm like, ain't none of that stuff was there. The map looked completely different. So, like, I think maybe a lot of the feedback people gave them on on the cons of the game, they worked on that stuff. And potentially, maybe they got it. So, like, I wanna install it. It's on consoles as well, the open beta. So I assume the controller support works now. So if the controller is down, then I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I'm going to install it and keep forgetting to install. I'm glad.
Already
we're
got it
doing
installed, brother. I'll be there
So-
with you.
All right, so we can run through it. Maybe it's an open beta, so I'm pretty sure you can live stream it. So maybe we'll live stream that on the DPS channel, just so people show people what it's about. But like this is the pitfalls I think of live service games. Because you can have a trailer that was so exciting. Remember they first showed the trailer that was like, coming to you from the Battlefield developers. And people was like, what? These are Battlefield developers? Oh, look at they sliding and shooting. Look at people blowing up and turning into coins. Oh my God, this looks great. And then people play the game. It was like, oh, bro, what is happening? This is not it. You can lose the attention of an audience like that so easily. And so I hope they got it back, because like look, at one point that was X Defiant. X Defiant came out and people played, like that came out, but they did a beta and people played it. It was one of the worst controlling first person shooters. I mean, like not as bad as Crossfire X, but it was pretty freaking bad. And then they went into the oven and went cooking for like a year and a half, came back, and the game was a competent shooter. So, I'm not writing the finals off, but I'm just saying that typically when you lose people's interest, you never get it back.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think the show when I did the show, I said it's a 6 out of 10. The finals is one I was super interested in because I love shooters and stuff. Shout out to, rest in peace, Dizzy, Ark Survival, Ascended. I know he's always wanted a remaster of.
He loved Ark, man.
He lived in Ark, and I'm happy to see that this has finally happened. I'm just sad that he's not here to see it. So shout out to you, bro. This wasn't done for you, but I know you will really appreciate that they're actually doing it. Metal Gear, I'm actually interested in that. I'm more interested in the remake that they're doing for what's the name, but this was cool. I could definitely tell that a lot of the animations and stuff look real stiff. Look at that alligator's mouth. It looked just like it looked on the PSP. That's a stiff lift right there. But no, that was cool. But I think of all the games, RoboCop was the one that stood out. It's been standing out the most for the most part. Especially living in Detroit, born and raised in Detroit, live still in the city. OCP. and all this other stuff. It was just cool. So I was like, definitely want to jump into that when it comes out. And that's coming out very, very soon. So definitely looking forward to that. But everything else, like I said, Spirits of the North, I was like, what, the Switch game is finally coming to Xbox and Xbox? And then I saw the 2 and I was like, oh, okay, they're making another one. And I just kind of dismissed it along with everything.
I'm kind of, for a second,
mm-hmm.
I'm itching to get into this last topic.
Yeah, we have to get into it. And then Alan Wake, as always, you know, that gameplay at the end was really, really cool. So definitely looking forward to that. But moving on to the final topic.
Can I start it off with a bomb real quick?
You don't want our guest to start it off with a bomb?
Oh, no. Well, I want to hear his bomb. I want to hear his bomb. Let's go.
Wait, hold on. Do you have a nuclear bomb?
Yeah.
Or is it just a bomb?
It's nuclear.
It's nuclear. All right.
Yeah.
So so reorganization of the Xbox and their marketing teams. We have a lot of different things going on. Sarah Bond is going to be the new president of Xbox. She's going to be over Xbox and she's going to be over the hardware. And then we also have Matt Booty getting a semi-promotion, and he's going to be taking over Bethesda when it comes to running those teams and stuff over there too, along with his duties over at Xbox that he's going to be doing for first party studios. This is something that got announced earlier today. Slow-mo, go.
Matt Booty isn't really running ZeniMax Media. Jamie Letter is running ZeniMax Media.
Okay.
Matt Booty is just the next in line as far as who Jamie reports to make sure Redfall never happens again.
Okay.
Yeah. But they didn't. That's not a bombshell.
That's not the bombshell. I just wanted to say that.
Say you want to disappoint me.
That's not the bomb. Here's the bombshell.
Okay.
Sarah Bond's not going to take over for Phil Spencer when he retires.
Yeah, I already knew about this bombshell because we were arguing about this earlier today, Kay.
Mm-hmm.
We argued about this earlier today.
Sarah Bond what makes you say that?
Parent.
What makes you say that?
Dudo! Shout out to Dudo and On Point.
It's Matt Booty. It's going to be Matt Booty.
No, but answer the question. What makes you say that? Yeah.
I hate to say it like this.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I think they love Sarah Bond. I think they love what she provides for the platform.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing in loving someone who provides the work that they do where they're at. And then there's another thing to having that same amount of love and admiration for someone when they are in charge. If you look at that board, looks very similar, a lot of very similar looking faces, right?
I hear you on that one. Yeah.
Except her face.
Okay.
And frankly, I in the tech world, and I've seen it far too often.
Yeah.
People do not like to report to other people who don't look like them.
You laying it out right now.
They love Sarah where she's at, and they promoted her to, hey, you run Xbox the way you ran Game Pass. You go, girl. But when it comes to when Phil retires, it's gonna be like, you know, I love Sarah.
Well, see,
but I don't know.
So the pushback I'll give you on that a little bit is technically they're giving her Phil's old job. That's what she's doing right now. And now she having Phil's old job makes her Booty's boss.
That's what I told Slow-Mo.
No.
Yes.
She's not Booty.
No.
That's what I tried to tell Slow-Mo.
No.
I tried to
be
tell
clear.
him.
Hold on. Be clear. Yes, I see the chart. I do. But be clear. Just because the pictures are in the hierarchy, that does not tell you that this person's over the other person, right?
But then, how is she Booty's boss?
Well, let me explain.
Okay.
Like all of them there are almost, besides Phil, all of them there are almost at the same level. The difference is, right? Take Phil out of the equation. If you remove Phil out of the equation, because Phil's job is a new job, right? Before then, all the others still existed. The difference was Phil used to be what Sarah is now. And when he was what Sarah was now, who reported to him? Matt Booty did.
That's
you can't.
Oh,
but that
only
no.
difference. The
hold
only
on, hold on.
difference here, though, is the
You
only
can't
difference here,
take
though, is
him out of
they've
the
added.
equation.
No, but hear me. Let me explain.
Okay.
They've added Phil to the top because now they have different arms of the gaming stool. It's not just Xbox anymore, right? There will be a mobile arm, which he will report to Phil. There will be the ABK arm, the Activision arm, which is third party, right? Which could be third party because of the rules and all of that, blah, blah, blah. They don't intermingle anymore. And because they don't intermingle anymore, they need an overarching lord over all of the various gaming departments. That's where Phil comes in, right?
Yeah.
But in order for him to be the overarching lord of the entire gaming division, guess what? There's got to be an old Phil. And that old Phil has that hierarchy underneath Xbox Game Studios, which is run by Booty. Okay. So the hierarchy is
what you're saying Phil, is not represented on the chart.
Well, that's because they never see, that's the thing that, and I didn't think about that till he just said it, because the thing that they never filled Phil Spencer's role when he got promoted.
No, because they didn't need to at the time.
They didn't need to at the time because they had active, because they still had,
because all they still had was Xbox, and that's it. Plus now they have all the stools.
And that was the thing. Right? And then you had Bethesda was still operating independently. They were still under Xbox, but Pete Hines was basically the person that was running, Bethesda at that point when it came to everything under Phil Spencer. But they never had to have a reason to have somebody in between Phil and Booty because there is
nothing that just because she is now president of Xbox does not mean Matt Booty, who runs first party and ZeniMax Media, reports to her.
Remember, if you're the president of the whole studio,
Bobby K. Bobby K. does not report to Sarah Bond either. As of this moment, he's going to retire. No. So whoever replaces him.
He's on the same. He's on the same. That's what I'm trying to. That's what we're saying because he's on the same level as he's a different leg in the stool. Like that's exactly. The ABK part. That's not the same hierarchy. Exactly. Yeah.
They make games.
So let me say this.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Think about what you just said. Though you said who is Booty?
Let me finish. You guys keep talking and you're not listening to me.
Please.
ABK does not report to Sarah Bond.
No,
no one said it did.
Nobody said it did.
But you're saying Matt Booty reports to Sarah Bond. Why? He's doing the exact same thing.
No,
that you do not cut me off no more. I'm not done talking. cut me off crap. Okay.
I'm gonna mute you.
Matt Booty, you mute me. I'm still keep talking. You gonna hear me. Matt Booty is doing the exact same thing that Bobby K is doing right now. He has a collection of studios that are making games, and they are managing them. It's the same thing that Matt Booty's doing with Xbox Game Studios, and in a way, and absolutely actually with ZeniMax Media, because he got Mike Ybarra who runs Blizzard, and Mike Ybarra reports to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same structure, but they don't report to Sarah Bond. Matt Booty does not report to Sarah Bond. Because his job is to produce games. Those games are only going to be on Xbox.
So
they're going to be on PC. They're going to be on mobile. They're going to be on they might be on some weird handheld they decide to make sometime down the road.
No. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. There are changes to the structure. You are right on that, Slow-Mo. Because until now, there has been no need for somebody like a Matt Booty in his role to have hierarchy over anything besides Xbox, because only Xbox was the method. And now there are multiple legs in that stool, and Booty will be responsible for multiple parts of that, right? But that means under Xbox, Booty will take order from Sarah Bond. Under ABK, hear me. Under ABK, where there will be a lead where, for example, they haven't made it official.
It was going to probably be Mike Ybarra, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mike Ybarra is going to take over. Yeah.
That's right. So in that scenario, you can imagine that a Mike Ybarra will also work with Matt Booty if it requires the content. If there's content that he needs done, he will work among all of the different stools. But that means he will be listening to and taking requests from all the various heads. Sarah Bond being the head of Xbox.
But guess
one
what, Kay?
of the legs.
Guess what, Kay?
Does that mean that he answers?
But guess what, Kay? How did this conversation start when he said the first thing? He said Matt Booty isn't running Bethesda. Who did he say is going to be running Bethesda?
Jamie Letter.
Yeah. Yes.
So Booty is going to be overseeing the video game aspect of developing the games.
Yes. Yes.
Jamie's
and that'll be everywhere.
The one. Jamie's going to be the one that's going to be that fourth leg at the table. If we go off of what you said, he will be specifically Bethesda's that leg of Bethesda. Yes, absolutely, absolutely, right. And he will be reporting to Booty, right. As will multiple other Jamies in the other legs, which would be ABK, which would be, I keep saying ABK, but technically they'll be Blizzard. Separate, I suspect, separate
from Activision. They will each have which all will go up to Booty, and Booty will then answer, because he's the middleman, will then answer to all the heads of the various legs, which would be Sarah Bond, which would be whoever they put in charge of Blizzard, which would be whoever they put in charge of, because each of those different heads has gaming content and studios. So they will all interface with Matt. And then, of course, Phil Spencer, big head guy. So I do see what you're saying, Slow. It's not a direct line that, Booty is underneath them, right? He does have purview over all the various different organizations, but I don't think, because what you said there, you drew a through line to say that because that happened, you now see that she won't be the heir apparent. I don't see that through line though.
No, that's not just that. I don't think she's going to be the heir apparent for the very reason the main reason I said before, that she could be the most, by hands down, the most,
because she looks different. Because she looks different than the others on this page.
I'm gonna need. My history
on that one. I want to argue with you very vigorously, but I can't.
I need them to actually prove the tech world wrong, because the tech world is undefeated in that aspect when it comes to black people in these roles. We are 0-125. So I'm waiting on that one W. Maybe she'll be the one, but until then, I'm gonna keep it with the it ain't happening, right? So,
gamers will be
outside of that, they're gonna be upset because I don't think Matt Booty is the most popular out there, and I think that I've been hard on him before.
Hey man, put some respect on the man's name.
I think Peaches.
That's right.
I think Peaches has kind of toughened up since he let Playground punk him and say, we ain't showing Fable when you want to show Fable. Get up out of here. I think he's gotten a little bit more, he's kind of put a little bit more hair on his chest. I remember last June, Daryl Gallagher said that he made a joke, but no one makes jokes like this in the interview unless there's some grain of truth to it. He was asked how did he like watching the show, the last showcase, from a gamer's perspective, because his game wasn't shown yet. He made a joke that if they don't hit these deadlines, he definitely gonna be looking at the next show as a gamer, because he won't have his job no more. Ha ha ha! And it's like, how much of a joke is that? Who jokes like that, right? I think Matt I think ever since 2012, when Matt couldn't produce anything but Pentiment to provide for gamers in that entire year, there was a battery put in his back. It was like, you better get on the ball with this. And ever since then, I think that pressure that he's getting, he is delegating that pressure down to the studio heads of the various nearly 24 so studios that he runs, and I'm glad of that. And I want to see some of the dog in him that I saw in those emails displayed with his studios to make sure that the we getting these games out in a good cadence and whatnot. That said, he's nowhere near as popular as Sarah Bond is. Matt Booty's Twitter account ain't been updated in God knows how long. I bet you most of y'all don't even know he got a Twitter account. He does. He just don't never tweet nothing. He's not the kind of executive that, and some people may be like, well, I like my executives like that they don't talk. Don't talk to me, make some games. And maybe and maybe that's what you want to see from someone like Matt Booty. But other people, I think, they like Sarah. She's very likable. When we see these showcases, if you see anyone up there that's not Phil Spencer, who is it? It's Sarah Bond. She's always on. She's a face, and I think she will remain the face of Xbox. But Xbox is not just it's not the platform anymore. Game Pass, PC, mobile, everything in gaming is more than just Xbox and more than what they care about right now. And so I think just because she's president of Xbox, I do not think she will be the successor for Phil when he finally retires, which I don't think is happening until like next generation, at the earliest, probably next year.
Where has this take been for the last 3-4 years? Because it's not like it was yesterday when everybody was saying, she was being groomed to take Phil Spencer's spot. This has been pretty much being talked about since 2018, ever since all this stuff started happening. So is it now that you're seeing the progression in her role being expanded? Now you're like, yeah, let's snip this in the butt now. She ain't gonna be head of X. She ain't gonna be VP of Xbox.
Look, it's I entertained it, and I was like, man, because I love to see her. I love to see us ascend. You know what I'm saying? I love to see us get promoted. I sent her a tweet. It was just like, congratulations. I love seeing us ascend. That's literally what I said. I love to see it, but I understand the reality of it. There's a glass ceiling there. There's always a glass ceiling for us, and so there's a point you go up to, and it's just like, man, you accomplished so much. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna put Matt Booty in charge of. I'm just trying to get people to understand what's going to happen before it happens.
Your cynical brain is taking control, and you have the right to have that cynical brain take, because, like you said, historically it's on your side, right? But I wake up every morning, I put my shoes on, and I put one foot in front of the other and hope for better day, right? So maybe call me Pollyanna. She's at the like very, very close to that mountaintop, right?
Yeah.
It's not a foregone conclusion what either way this will go, and we'll know it soon enough. I say Phil Spencer's got 4 or 5 years left in the tank. What do you think? Till the end of the next gen?
5. Yeah, I give him 5. Yeah, I give him
5 years in the tank. Right?
Yeah,
we'll know this soon enough.
When the new generation comes up, I think Phil will be like, yeah, it's time to pass.
By then, ABK will be integrated and solidified. We'll know this, right? But I would just say, they listen a lot, right? So you challenge them as you do. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I'm not saying now you got she's someone. I don't think she's like undeserving.
It's not a foregone conclusion.
It's not a foregone conclusion, but I'm saying prove me wrong and give her the just opportunity for the role. I would love to see it.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's in this industry where we know there's all kinds of racism, what's going on. When we hear from let me bring up Bungie again, how their own diversity officer is suing them for racial discrimination.
Listen, man,
in this industry where one of their own studios had a Bonobo incident, in this industry where their own company with Mixer had the woman running Mixer do a slavery joke, and then when the one black guy in the room said he had a problem with it, she told him to stop being so sensitive. In that same company, I want to see it different.
Well, this is also the same company that it has somebody like Satya Nadella at the top of it too. And you said, even when I was talking to you earlier, that's not typical of this company that we're talking about. So there's also a chance to think that, and like I said, you may be right, Slow-Mo, and I'm not truly disagreeing with you, because that has always been a talking point amongst us in our community, and we want to see people ascend. So I definitely don't disagree with your take on it. I guess it's just that I have this hope and this belief that this woman has put in the work to show that she should be there. And that it's like, and if she doesn't get there, it's because somebody else of note is way better at doing it. And I feel, and like I told you, I feel like if Booty was to get that over her, that's like a person jumping a position over you to get something.
No,
you know what?
Because she's not over him.
Well, but one thing though, like especially what you're describing here, like Forte, right? And also to your point there, Slow-Mo, your cynical brain about what they could do. Microsoft is one of the most PR knowledgeable companies in the world.
Exactly.
Even though they don't necessarily do their own PR right, sometimes people have smoke for them about it. They are very, very, very cognizant of how they are perceived in the market. Very, very cognizant. So much so that they overcompensate when you say they're going too far left, right? They always do that. Put your cynical brain on, right? What happens when you have a Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of all the richest company in the world, sometimes the second, sometimes the first, and then you put a black woman as the CEO of gaming, the biggest growing sector in your company, right? You can say what you will. You're right about that, and I will contend that until they prove you wrong, we have no smoke. We have no way of denying that. But even the cynical view could still find her ascending to the top, because for a company who keeps perception so high, it's PR, such a front focus, that would be a great look for them, and they know that.
There's also the same,
like you've said, Slow. How many times do you see her out front? She's always out front because it's a good look for them, right? She deserves to be there, no doubt. No one's saying she doesn't. She's good at the job.
Yeah,
but it also inoculates them for a few talking points. It does, right? So imagine her being the top spot on Xbox. Boy, would that inoculate them from a lot of the BS. So even from a cynical perspective, there is a benefit to having her there. So we shall see.
Yep, I agree 100%. And it's only time will tell. We know Phil Spencer ain't gonna be here forever, and I'm rooting for it. I mean, and it's the thing. I don't want people to think Slow-Mo isn't rooting for her too. You know, that's just
if people got that implication from what I'm saying, then they have
but I gotta say it.
I gotta problem.
well, listen, I gotta say it, because the one thing I will say is you get taken out of context for a lot of things that you say, because you do say a lot of things.
See, look at that. It sure sounds like it. That I'm not for. Comprehension issues, man. I tell you, man. I don't know. I don't know what's.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He doesn't. It's not that he doesn't want it. He wants to believe. He wants to see it before he believes it. And I get that. And that's something that, especially in our community, been fighting for the longest.
She is the most deserving of it.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, the people who is a reality check. The people who are most deserving of things don't always get what they deserve, and that's just life. So
true.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. I will also say Pete Hines leaving makes a lot more sense now.
It definitely does. But let me ask you this, Slow-Mo. So before we move on from it, I'm gonna ask you just one quick question. Do you think the ultimatum was given, or do you think he was let go?
I think he chose the lead. Look, you ever seen someone say, there's no more upward mobility for me here. That someone feels like I've gone as far as I can with a company, and it's time for me to do something new. I think they made the decision to put Matt Booty over Cinemax Media a little while ago, and he molded over, and he may have personally, this is my speculation, he may have personally felt that should have gone to him. And did he want to continue there knowing that he couldn't go any higher? And made his choice and moved on, which is fine. I think we all at some point in time have to make those kind of decisions. Like, I know someone who a friend of mine who works in the IT field with me. Anytime he feels like he's hit a roadblock with a company, he's refreshing the resume, he's getting it out there, he's moving on to a new company, and he's flourished. Look, every time he's felt like he feels like I could be better utilized somewhere else, he'll do that. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not negative or anything. It's not a woe is Xbox kind of thing. It just is what it is in the corporate world. If you feel like you may have got passed over for a position, you move on somewhere else where you feel like you have better opportunities to move up. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Kay, I'm gonna let you finish out the show and this topic. What is your thoughts on just everything in general that's going on with the reconstruction and everything?
I mean, I called it way back in the day. When they did their first org chart reorganization. I saw this whole different legs of the stool thing happening because in the organization I work in, they've done similar restructuring, and you see it happening. So I think it's interesting. I think it will be interesting to see, what her mark is, Sarah Bond's mark is on Xbox, right? Because we can't, as Slow-Mo rightly pointed out, we can't use historical evidence of that role to define what she'll do next, because when that role was that role, the situation, the scenario was different. They didn't have as many arms as they do now, right? They only had one focal point, and that was the console. So now they have many aspects of getting into it, and Game Pass is the ecosystem. And these things they've just become endpoints to getting into the ecosystem, right? So
Right.
there's a lot different there. So how and what she will do to put her own stamp on it will be very interesting to me. Will it be just business as usual as if Phil Spencer is in the room, or will we see a difference in cadence? Will we see a difference in aggression or whatever? How talking points, right? I expect to see Phil not be in the limelight as much. Those interviews you see a lot more of. I expect you'll see a lot. Well, without ABK being part of the conversation, in general gaming parlance, I expect you'll see Sarah Bond come out far more than you will Phil Spencer in the next a few, after the ABK stuff, right? So all that is super interesting to me. How it translates into the games you play, we shall see. From what I hear, and that's my rumor and speculation, she's a beast. She's she's great. She's very personable. She's very approachable. She's very intelligent, but she's also very very opinionated and competitive. And seemingly, if she's in that top spot, we may see her, flex her muscles a little bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
I hope
Yeah,
so. I would love to
absolutely.
see. I would love to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. Yeah, this was a great show. Thank you, Kay, for hanging out with us for just over 2.5, well, almost 3 hours. And shout out to Jay Rambert with the $10 super chat. I meant no disrespect, but I'd be shocked if Sarah isn't promoted to CEO of gaming, because who can actually replace her out of the candidates? In either case, we agree to disagree. He's talking to you, Slow-Mo. Like you
That's
said.
fine.
But
Hey,
guess what? And shout out
as
to
I
you for
always say, hold on, as I always say,
but
agreeing to disagree in a respectful manner is what we're always about. And as adults is exactly what should be expected of us. I will only be disrespected if Jay was like, no, Slow-Mo, you're a dickhead, you're a hole, you're wrong. I hope like that kind of devolving of to immature, illogical nonsense that we typically see in this gaming community. That's the only time I would feel disrespected. So no, you're good, bro. You're good, Joe.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you saying that too, and definitely appreciate the super chat too. Shout out to FTW. He said shout out to that Dead Space glitch. Yeah, man, I got stuck in the door. The door was shuttering. I was like, yeah, the only way I'm getting out of this is if I restart the checkpoint. So even the game that came out early this year has.
I think at that part, if I recall correctly, you got to get the ability to
you get the stasis
time.
Yeah, you get the stasis slowdown ability, and I used it, but like when I used it, the door opened, but when I walked through it, it shut real fast, and it literally just like right now it's working fine, but you probably just missed it before this. It literally was going back and forth really, really fast. So that was that. But yeah, definitely shout out to that glitch. All games have glitches. None are immune to them. First of all, really appreciate the over 67 people we had here. We're sitting at 53 right now. 34 likes. Please hit the like button before you leave the show. Like I was saying, Kay, I really appreciate you coming through, man. I got to get on your show. I haven't been over there yet. I know Slow-Mo's been over there a couple of times. And it's definitely great to hear you and Everborn talk, because when you and Everborn talk, I feel like I'm listening to me and Slow-Mo every day. So that's kind of how our conversations go.
I see what you mean, and I will say here publicly, your invite is open, sir. Whenever you feel the need, you just let us know, and the invite is to you. You just tell me we'll talk about it. We'll do it for sure. Yes, we're looking forward to having you on. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. And with that, please let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on your channel, and the amazing podcast you and Everborn do.
Oh yeah, well, thank you once again for having me on. Always great talking to you brothers. It's always great to listen to your show and all the great things you guys are about. We started our show, myself and Everborn Saga, mainly inspired by the great work you guys do. So as I say always, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we appreciate y'all. So thank you guys so much for having me. This Saturday, oddly enough, Everborn Saga is in Florida. He's flying. He's here on family business. So he may or may not be on the show on Saturday. But not to be outdone, we have a great show. We're gonna have Mr. Infinite Umbra will be my stand-in co-host, and we will have the guest BitCloud Gaming joining us. We'll talk more Spider-Man. We'll talk, we'll delve deep into some of the other games we've been playing, and a few as well as some other madness, as we get on Saturday mornings. So please come check us out. We newly minted 2K view subscribers, which I'm super proud of, because
let's go.
Because I wasn't sure I was even going to hit that by the end of this year, and then it just kind of happened yesterday. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So there you go. But yes, thank you guys so much for having me as usual. Wonderful chat. A lot of the same faces that I see in my chats, I see in yours as well. So thank you guys for the humble welcome. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, man. And guess what? It's nice to wake up the next morning and you hit a milestone. It's always great. So
indeed.
Shout out to the community for doing that. Homie Slow-Mo, my man, the myth, the man, the legend, the man that I couldn't do this show with. Couldn't do the show without every week.
I was gonna say what?
I can't do this show with you no more, Slow-Mo. We gotta have a talk after this. But the man I can't do this show without, man. You make me a better host. You make me a better just everything when it comes to this community, and I gotta always be on my P's and Q's. Listen, I gotta be on my. Listen.
You wrote your vows, man.
I did write my vows.
Where's my ring at?
I'm pouring my heart out to you right now, because guess what? And I don't tell you this enough. You make me prepare more than I even care to prepare, because I know I have to prepare to talk to you. If I got to talk to you, I got to be on my P's and Q's, because I know, man, Slow-Mo been paying attention to all this stuff. He gonna get on me. So let me make sure that my P's and Q's are crossed. So I appreciate you for being the friend that you are. I always try to tell people that, especially coming up to the end of the year. People don't tell people that enough. We have an amazing, group of people that like to watch us and everything. A lot of people that support us inside this community, and I just want to say thank you to you once again. You're an amazing person and amazing co-host. Please let everybody know what's going on with your channel. where they can find you and everything else you got going on,
I appreciate
and your channel
bro.
members.
That was very, very nice of you. I appreciate you, bro. Slow Mo Backslap is the channel. Next week's show will be on my channel, as usual, and as well as the DPS channel. If you haven't subbed to that yet, please do. In case you're ever confused on where the show is going to be at, which channel, it's always there, so that there's no worries there. I still haven't done. First of all, Kay, have you finished The Expanse?
I'm at the very last episode. Haven't finished it yet.
Okay, yeah, I need to get on the ball with my final review of it, because like that's probably what I'm gonna probably drop this weekend, because I did the last 2 episodes, and I initially wanted to do 4th episode, put out my review on it, then the 5th episode to kind of cap the whole thing. But apparently, because I had downloaded both of them, it rolled right into the 5th episode without even doing the whole credits thing and having me choose. So I was kind of shocked by that. So I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing this one too. So I should have that out by this weekend. I apologize for those that were kind of looking for that, because I didn't do one for after the 3rd one for a while. But I got that, and I got another video in the tuck that I'm working on. So you should get both of those next week before we do the next DPS show. And on the DPS channel, we're probably me and Forte probably will either play the finals and live stream that soon. So if you guys want to check that out, see what that game's about, just check out the channel, check us out. We'll have a good time. Channel members, just want to shout out these people who love to support us, and we love the fact that you guys support us. We appreciate you guys doing that. It's very much appreciated. Shout out to J0387, Erodimus, Vay Bay, Donnell Brown, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Truth Serum, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, Corey Hill, Starla Cicero, and that guy Smitty.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys. And from this side, Brat, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Donnell Brown, Stardust Cicero, Ramon Terrell, Hargi Chini, Corey Hill, Slow Mo Backslap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. The support is definitely something that is not required, but it is definitely appreciated. And you guys are pretty amazing. Some of you guys have been doing this for almost 2 years, and that's love, and we really appreciate it. And with that being said, we will see you guys for episode 154 on Slow Mo's channel next week. Make sure you come through, and we'll announce if we're having any special guests we're having then. So you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the games you're playing, and enjoy each other. Peace.